about when it comes to abortions, right? At the end of the day, that's why I don't typically argue over the morality of it. I argue over the pragmatics, because we're going to disagree on morality all day. Yeah, I think I agree. I think they should have the decision, but their reasonings we don't necessarily have to agree with it. You know what I mean? Because I definitely didn't necessarily agree with that reasoning for it. But y'all keep tapping that screen, y'all. Keep tapping that screen. I'm gonna try to get more people in here. We're gonna try to get some discussions going. Like I said before, I'm gonna keep seeing how this goes, because I think I'm gonna bring back the phone number, because the phone number seemed to work a lot better for guests, for people who want to come in. For some reason, the guest link for them, I mean, it works. They just don't want to go to it. It's really weird. Like the guest link works, right? It's not that there's anything wrong with the guest link. It works. Folks just don't want to go to it for some reason. Like I don't know. They think I'm gonna steal their information. It's so strange. You know what I mean? I don't know why people like are so against that guest link. I'll be like, hey y'all, the link is right there, and they either disappear or they straight up tell me they don't want to use the guest link. They would rather call. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna do anything to you. like what am I gonna do to you? It's StreamYard, bro. Like the fuck am I gonna do to you? Yeah, I mean, but other than that, y'all keep tapping that screen. Let's go ahead and tap so we could get some folks in here. Let's get this to the FYP. Appreciate you all being here, and I do see you, Chi, in the Black Atheist Coalition. Chi, I appreciate you. Once again, Chi is in the Black Atheist Coalition. I do appreciate you for joining, Chi. Big ups to you. But yeah, guys, we're gonna go ahead and try to get this stream going. Once again, I appreciate y'all for being here. Hey, Andrew. Andrew is someone that I know from Facebook. I've known him for the past couple of years. Andrew, I don't know if you know, but I'm actually live on Facebook right now as well. If you want to share it, go ahead and share it. Especially in that group. You know what you're going to talk about. What you want to talking about. Let's see if they want to actually watch. Yeah, I mean, but you can share it in that group if you like. Once again, y'all, I do appreciate y'all. I'm surprised, Andrew, you're here on YouTube. I didn't even know you had a YouTube, Andrew. Hey, what up, Weed? What's going on, man? What's going on, Jordan? How's it going, guys? Keep liking, y'all. Like it over on the YouTube as well. Yeah, Facebook will get some wild guests. I know that for sure. Facebook will get some pretty wild guests. There is someone that I know from Facebook who's here on TikTok, but most people I know from Facebook who I used to debate with, they just stay over on Facebook. You know, they love it over there. They love it over there over on Facebook. But once again, if you would like to discuss with me, if you're over on the YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, the link is right here, tiny.cc/BallseyLive. You can go ahead and join in there. And if you're over here on TikTok, go ahead and click that request button, and we'll definitely have that talk and have that conversation. Yeah, Facebook will definitely have some wild guests. I know that for sure. There'll be some wild guests if this was over on well, this was back in the day, because most people are not on Facebook anymore. You know what I mean? So if this was back in the day, sure. You know what I mean? But if this was back during COVID times, then yeah, I'll probably have a whole bunch of guests from Facebook. This was back during COVID time, but it's not COVID time anymore. People ain't outside no more. People are outside again, you know, so no one is watching these anymore. Facebook kind of screwed themselves as well. Facebook used to have there's specific groups on Facebook. Me and the guy I was talking to, Andrew, we were part of a Facebook group. He's one of the like sensible conservatives that I met on there, and even he will call out the racism of other conservatives. It would be like, hey, you guys are, you know, conservatism is about, you know, small government and taxes and shit. everything you guys are saying about, the culture of black people seems to be bullshit. You know what I mean? So he was one of those few conservatives that I met that would call out his own conservatives on making those type of arguments. He would actually say that, hey, even though we don't agree with a government solution to these things, we still should agree on the problem. You know what I mean? So he was one of those guys, which is why how me and him became friends. And he's kind of like backed off from all the groups because he saw how wild it was getting. But cool kid. I mean, I like Andrew. I think he got engaged recently. Congrats on that too, Andrew. Cool kid. Very good kid. But yeah, if I were to share this, I mean, I think I did share this in one of my Facebook groups before, like a very, very big conservative one, and they deleted it and gave me a warning. So I guess they don't want me to share it over there in their groups. But yeah, y'all, I'm here. Y'all go ahead and start liking. We're just gonna wait. We're just gonna wait for people to come in. Oh wow, I didn't even know. And Andrew told me Andrew just told me he voted for Kamala last time. I thought you just wouldn't vote because because I know you have a very strong conservatism. I thought you just wouldn't vote, but that's yeah. But yeah. Trump has. I don't know, man. This era of Trump conservatism is wild to me because it's like Hank Hill. I grew up watching King of the Hill. Hank Hill would hate Trump. You know what I mean? Hank Hill will hate Trump. So it's like this era of conservatism to me is wild. It's like the conservatives that I knew back in the day were Hank Hill or South Park Republicans. You know what I mean? Those are the type of conservatives that I knew. This new breed of them is wild. You know what I mean? It's insane. How's it going, Zerion? Zerion over, libertarians. There we go. Now, there's some libertarians even today that are a bit wild to me, but it's because those libertarians tend to be like very, very anti-trans for some reason. It's like, oh, trans people didn't do nothing to y'all. I thought libertarianism was about, letting people live their lives. So it's like, why y'all so anti-trans? It's kind of weird. Zerion over on my YouTube says, you shouldn't be a conservative because they suck. You shouldn't believe in God because that's dumb. Did I win the stream? Oh man, my YouTube users they be hilarious, man. It'd be hilarious. All right, so once again, if you say something that basically disagrees with what I have on the board, and you're over on YouTube, I'm just gonna drop the link for you. I'm just gonna drop the link for you, and you tell me why you think. If you want to talk about number 1 and number 2, that's fine. Just let me know, and then we'll go ahead and have a conversation. Do appreciate you all being here. Once again, you guys are wonderful. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much. We're just waiting for anybody to come over on the YouTube, and we're gonna go ahead and talk. Said old Republicans basically disowned the new party. Yeah. The old Republicans disowned the new party. They really did, because it's like this new Republican Party is I don't know, man. It's insane. The old Republicans just that's why I think even though like the last election had a whole lot of votes, most people still don't vote, and I think it's because we feel that the parties abandon us, right? And which is not something it's not a I don't think it's a crazy supposition to hold that the parties have basically abandoned their principles, because again, the Democrats used to be for the small guy and the working class, and right now it's all about their corporate donors. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Biden did pretty well with unionization and everything like that. But even a lot of union workers have started to see that they don't think that Democrats are for them. I mean, it doesn't seem that the parties care. So if they don't care, what's the point of voting? You know what I mean? I think that's why Zohan Mamdani is so popular, because he actually seems to care. And in his first 100-something days in office, he's been able to get things done for like for his people, get some promises made. You know what I mean? Get some promises done. They say he was gonna do. I guess that's why he's so popular. You know what I mean? Well, once again, guys, let me see if there's any more comments. Yeah, I wish we could get a left party going. If the Black Panther Party was still around, they would have been that left party, in my opinion. Okay, we have NY Birdman. Okay, so NY Birdman, you can go ahead and join in with the link. I dropped it in the comments over on my YouTube. Here's the thing: if you're gonna go ahead and just insult me, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop the link. Like, at least talk to me. You know what I mean? You dropping the comments or insult me, not gonna do anything. You might as well talk to me and let me know what you disagree with, and how we can work out our differences. Well, they said that people usually say that JFK will be considered a Republican by the day standard. He will actually still be a Democrat. He was for foreign intervention. He was a capitalist. Of course, he supported more social liberalism, right? He supported more social progressivism, but he wouldn't be too different from a Democrat to today, at least what they purport to support. So he wouldn't really be a Republican, right? Like, he will still be a Democrat by today's standards. I think if JFK was around to today, yeah, he would still support LGBTQ rights, because back then the hot button social issue was civil rights, and he was a big supporter of that. But he was also anti-communist. And he supported like interventionism in other countries. His foreign policy was still interventionist, which is what the Democrats are today. The Democrats are today are still interventionists. You know what I mean? So he really wouldn't be a Republican, in my opinion. He'll be a Democrat. Yeah, he was against abortion, but you have to understand that back in those days, literally just about everybody was against abortion. Abortion rights was the most left position of that day. You know what I mean? That and gay rights, those were like the most left position of that day. If you bring it up to today's time, update to today's time, I don't think JFK will be against LGBTQ rights. All right, guys, still here, right? Yeah, he was a Catholic, but I think he'll be more of a Biden Catholic than a Republican Catholic, in my opinion.
Good afternoon, guys.
All right, Zeki, how's it going, Zeki? Are you well?
Cool,
yeah, I already know who you are. You want to talk
about
number two again?
Before. Yeah, why not?
All right. When are you ever going to talk about the other topics, bro? Is number two the only one you're interested in?
I think people really don't care about political views, man.
No, we care. Political views affect our everyday lives. It's because of political views that we have the president that we have today, and that's causing damage to our country. So political views do matter.
But they are really influenced highly by power. So
it is influenced highly by power.
Yeah, that's why people are afraid of discussing that. It's mainly the fear.
I understand that, but I get that. I don't think we should be. We shouldn't be afraid of discussing these
things. Yeah, you're right. People should be brave. You're right. Yeah,
exactly. All right. So, I'm assuming that you're not a conservative, then.
Me, I'm actually against all political methods and way of governance.
Oh, you're an anarchist.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. No, I mean, I actually don't have a problem with anarchy. Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure how it works, but I don't have an issue with it.
There is places where it works, like in the Viking the North European Middle Ages, around the year 1400.
Yeah, I remember that. I think Iceland had a had a close version of anarcho-capitalism back then. There are some African societies that also had versions of anarchism. I can't name
Yeah,
off the top of my head. I think the Lunda had a version of anarchism, but yeah, it was pretty much like that. Anyway, yeah. So you said you want to talk about number two, because I don't have a big issue with anarchism. I think that's probably the best way humanity should go to. Truth, I ain't gonna lie to you. But yeah, let's we can go ahead and talk about number two. I'm not sure if you're gonna make the same argument, but why do you
yeah,
believe
of
I should
course
believe in a
not.
god?
Should we take the prospect of the, how do we say it, the Matrix?
The prospect of the Matrix? What about it?
Yeah, in the Matrix there is a definition of reality, and that really puts us in a really tight spot. Like when you define reality, and you don't have a definitive definition, you fall into the the problem and the paradox of the Matrix. Am I in a simulation?
Like solipsism?
Yeah, like when you are in a coma and you live another life. Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't know
sure.
if
I
they're
don't.
the same.
Yeah, sure. I mean, none of us can really solve solipsism, right? None of us can confidently say that. Excuse me, that we're not all brains in a vat. We can only say, "I think, therefore I am." Basically.
Yeah, so the consciousness itself is a problem because when we say consciousness, we can't explain it with the mind. Here you go, why? Because the cases of the people who fall into do we call it, into coma for years, they still have all the things that provide reality, which is thinking, knowledge, storing memory, and making decision. But they don't have only one thing, and this is the problem. They don't have consciousness. They don't realize they exist in that reality. But when they came back, they realized that they were in a different reality and now they are in this reality. So where does the consciousness came from? It doesn't came from the mind, as the mind was absent in the other life. So it's not the consciousness can't be by logic caused by the electromagnetics. They
But
cause everything else except consciousness. Yeah,
you're running into a very big problem. We've never been able to detect consciousness without a physical brain present, right? Like even in, for example, in your example, the entire thing about person being in a coma, they're in an unconscious state at the moment, right? But their brain still works. It's like they're in a deep dream state, essentially. So like when you're dreaming, your brain is still working. There's still neurons firing. It's still conscious, in that sense. But to then say that because people in a coma have dreams of them living another type of life, therefore consciousness doesn't come from the brain, is kind of silly, because again, this only works when the brain is alive and the brain is present. You see what I mean? So what are
yeah.
we saying?
So I agree with you. The brain is a criteria and the requirement for its existence, but it's unfortunately it doesn't define it or give us any leads to where it came from, and this leaves us with a really detached from science problem that has no basis to start and observe in any way, like either with electromagnetic fields or symbiosis or biologic evolution. None of this can let us prove or even like track where consciousness came from or how does it came to exist.
Well, I mean, from the information that we have, information that we've been able to gather, consciousness is likely an emergent property of our brain. Really, like the brain chemistry, the neurons, the electricity that goes through our brain. Consciousness
Yeah,
seems
this,
to
this
be basically an emergent property, right? But the thing
Mostly,
is, we do
this
have
is
a
exactly the problem.
right. Hold on.
The
We hold on. We haven't solved consciousness, right? But just because we have a question about it that doesn't necessarily mean that now a God answers that question. That's kind of God the gaps.
Yeah, but that's it. Push us in the area of supernatural, which is really destroys our fundamentals of explaining things. So if you can't explain it, then you are turning to faith and automatically. So
No, not
we,
necessarily, man. Like, the thing is, since we can't explain it, we can only say what the evidence shows us, and the evidence shows us that number one, we've never been able to detect consciousness without a physical brain present, and number two, consciousness seems to be an emergent property of our brain, the way that our brain works. It seems to be an emergent property. Now, does that mean that that's the answer and that solves it? No, of course not. There's still a lot of questions about what it is and where it came from. But that doesn't necessarily mean that now the answer is supernatural. We just don't know the full answer yet. Yeah, I mean, but but to say that because we don't know the full answer, the supernatural has to be the answer is a mistake. That's got the gaps essentially.
but the problem is this is a really new field of debate in the neuro what they call it, neurobiology. Yeah, in the
Neurobiology, yeah.
neurobiology. Yeah, it's a really new discussion. So of course there is not much debate about it. But the premise about it and why it's really need to be talked about is the fact that neurobiology has reached its maximum when it comes to the mind cells. Previously, we were unable to understand how the mind works, but currently, we went to the using the supercomputers. We went to this, what do we call it? Yeah, to the what is the wave? Yeah, the wavelength, the energy wavelength that the mind uses. We didn't know it existed before, and now we know. And now we can explain consciousness. We put that as the explanation for consciousness. Then came the problem of the coma. It's a, I forgot the name of the theory, but the coma disproved that that intuition and that theory that that consciousness is because of the neurons wavelength that move back and forth at speed near light. So this makes us currently, not that we lack evidence or lack research, but the research is finished and ended up not realizing that the consciousness source or location isn't in the mind in the first place, as the mind was operating fully in the coma, but there was no consciousness. It didn't go with the patient. It stayed somewhere else.
No, no, I mean it,
This is
but
basically the
the thing is, like, it really didn't. It stayed with the patient still. Like when someone is in a coma, we're talking about conscious, and we're talking about like currently self-aware, right? Like when we're sleeping, we're
yeah.
not conscious, but no one is gonna say that our consciousness goes somewhere else when we're sleeping. Yeah, I mean, we're just not aware we're just not present or not presently aware at the moment, but there's still dormant consciousness, right? That's what kind of like dreaming and sleeping is. Like your body still works. Nothing else is making your body work. It still works the way that it does, and your brain is still in REM. It's still working. It's the same thing when it's in a coma. Like the body is not aware of where it is at the moment, but the brain is still working, right? But if you're gonna say that the consciousness goes somewhere else, where did you detect that it went? Were you able to detect where it going somewhere else, or are we just guessing that it
No,
went
no.
somewhere else?
Yeah, in their analysis or whatever they call it, they describe it as it didn't transfer with the mind, which means the mind, when it's working, it wasn't there in the first place. I'm gonna give you an example. We thought that the engine was in the back of the car, but when we thought the engine was the thing moving the car, but well, one time we removed the engine, or it got removed through the accident of the coma. We realized the car's still moving. What does that mean? It means the engine wasn't what moved the car, so the mind wasn't where the consciousness was in the first place,
I'm not sure I
or
understand
its
that
reason for
analogy.
existing.
I'm not sure I understand that analogy and how it relates to the what we have with
Yes,
consciousness.
how it's yes, yes. So this leads to very, very, very similar uh, attribute of the religion, the Abrahamic religions. The Abrahamic religions say that the human self, what he is, and the fact that he is alive is consciousness,
No,
and
no,
it's
I
the
get that part.
soul.
I get that part. But what I'm saying is that when it comes to coma in consciousness, you're saying that it's analogous to a car accident of uh, the engine not being in the car, but the car still moving. The thing is, I'm not sure how that relates to being in a coma, because things like consciousness and mind just simply saying that it's not there when the person is in a coma. But how was that determined? Because the brain is still working, right? The brain is still firing, and a lot of people who are in a coma, they still have dreams and stuff like that. So how do we detect? Oh, he's gone. Crap, he's gone. Yeah, I guess he had to drop. Maybe his phone died. Maybe his phone died. All right. So Dot, go ahead and come on up, please. Dot. We can go ahead and talk about that. Just a quick thing, y'all. Just a quick announcement. I do have the shirts now, y'all. If you guys see that right now, if you are a black atheist, skeptics, or humanist, you can go ahead and get the shirt. Hold on, let me show y'all. Right over here. Y'all see that? All right, has the Black Power fist here. Black atheist, skeptic, and humanists. Right over there, you can get you your bash shirt. It's on my Teespring. The link is gonna be in the bio. You can go ahead and get you one right now. I have them for multiple colors, and one for men and one for women as well. I also have a mug for it. The hat didn't come yet, so there's not the hat for it. But when the hat comes, I'll definitely be wearing it on my streams so you guys can see the hat as well. But I do appreciate y'all. Once again, if you're watching me over on the Deconstruction Junction, I do appreciate you over on Deconstruction Junction. Once again, I can't see the comments, so if you guys will like to call in and discuss this with me, any of the topics, number one or number two, the link is pinned, and we can discuss the topics when you would like. If you watch me over from the Black Atheist Coalition, once again, I'll be dropping y'all the links so you guys can come in whenever you can. Talk to me. The link is tiny.cc/Volsi Live. You can go ahead and talk to me whenever. The link is all pinned, and come on up and have the discussion. And of course, thank you so much for watching me over on Volsi Thoughts, my personal channel. Subscribe to me at Volsi Thoughts, my personal channel, if you don't want to miss these. Go ahead and you can call in at the link tiny.cc/Volsi Live. We'll go ahead and be able to have a discussion whenever you will like. So we've been here for a minute, y'all. We've been here for a while. We've only had one guest, which means that TikTok doesn't like to send this to the algorithm for some reason. TikTok, what happens with TikTok, which is, it's always funny to me, is that for a while, right, on TikTok Studio, things will work. But then all of a sudden, without TikTok Studio, things don't work. Like they force you to go back onto the phone, which is annoying. You know what I mean? So I think next week I'm gonna have to start using my phone again to go live, because TikTok just doesn't like us using Studio. It's really weird. Anyway, we're gonna talk to Saint. Saint, how's it going? Are you at least?
I don't have too much to add to your topic specifically. I was just going to add. Did you say that you can't see the comments?
Oh no, I can see the comments on TikTok. I'm talking about over on YouTube.
Okay, I was going to say, because when I rolled in here, there was a flag on it saying that certain comments are being filtered for like inappropriate content or whatever. So I was like, if you can't see that and you're getting that, that might be part of your fucking issue.
Yeah. No, it's really they filter out if someone starts like spamming the N-word or stuff like that, they filter it out. That I put those filters on because like I got tired of it. You know what I mean? Every single time I went live, there were always someone spelling out the N-word in the comments. So I just started,
Yeah, unfortunately, children are allowed on the internet. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Keep liking, and let's try to get some folks in here.
Yeah, no worries,
I appreciate it. All right, guys. Like I said, if you're watching me over from Twitch or Facebook, oh, Zeki's back. If you're watching over from Twitch or Facebook or any of the other YouTubes, the link is there to come up and speak to me, and we can speak anytime. Zeki, I think your phone died.
How did you know, bro?
Yeah, that happens to me all the time. happens to me all the time. But yeah, yeah. When I saw that purple thing happen and then you dropped, I was like, okay, his phone died. That happens to me all the time.
Uh, so I really like this. What this Swanton guy said.
Hmm.
He said the brain activation system and central nervous system are the causes for coma. It isn't magic. Mr. ST, I wasn't talking about the cause of coma. I was talking about the cause of the consciousness. The current neurological neuroscience discovered, we discover everything, discovered that the brain that we thought was the source of consciousness is no longer the source of consciousness, and it's impossible for it to be the source of consciousness. This puts a really big problem. Where did the consciousness came from? And it's not a
Wait, I'm
problem
sorry.
like
Can
the
you repeat that
universe.
again? Can you repeat that again? You said they were able to prove that the brain is not the source of consciousness. Who proved that?
Yeah, yeah. So the problem here, it's not like the dogma of the universe. It's not that we lack evidence or we lack research. It's actually that because we knew the brain how it operates to a 100% accuracy with proof and practical and empirical evidence. It's proven that consciousness doesn't exist. They basically proved that consciousness doesn't exist in the mind. This puts a question: where is the consciousness,
Wait.
and how
I'm
did we get
still
it?
no. I'm still not tracking. You're simply saying that they proved that consciousness
Yeah,
doesn't exist in the mind. Which study
yeah.
proved this?
Okay, so basically, before the problem of the coma was studied and put it into the test of neurology, we thought the consciousness is a result of the brain operations and the brain electromagnetic field,
Hmm.
right? Yeah. But now, because the cases of the coma that have been thoroughly studied right now, of let's say the 2 years coma of some girl that woke up, it dictates, and by talking to her, they realized she had all basic mind operations. The brain was operating completely. Everything is fine. She had knowledge. She acquired knowledge. She stored information. She made decisions, but she wasn't self-aware. She didn't realize she's in a new reality. That is consciousness. That is the what differentiates us from a dead mechanic, something that only works automatically, like cells. So
Which girl was this? And you're not really telling me what happened. You just see that she learned while she was in a coma. Yeah, that's possible to do because your brain is still working in a coma. So,
yeah,
but if your brain is still working, still absorb information, even though you're not presently aware.
exactly. The problem is that because the brain was working functionally at 100% capacity, why didn't the consciousness work?
It did.
It didn't. She didn't realize she was in another reality till she wake up and realized that she was actually in another reality, and now she went back to our reality, and she actually fell into a shock and needed therapy and
Okay. Oh,
sessions
like so while
to
she was in a
cope with
coma,
that.
she was in a dream state where she learned things, and then she woke up from that coma where everything was completely different. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's something that can happen, right? But
Yeah.
you don't have dreams without your brain, so that shows that the brain was still working, or there's something deeper about consciousness that we don't understand yet. But that doesn't mean that the consciousness comes from somewhere else.
But this proves that the consciousness isn't in the brain in the first place.
No, it doesn't. Her brain was still working.
Yes. So if it was still working, why wasn't she conscious?
Why wasn't she awake? Why was she why did the coma happen? Comas can happen for a sec. Hold on. You got to mute yourself. Sorry about that, Bando. I'm gonna mute you for a second. Comas happened for several reasons, right? Like she was still in a coma, but the fact that she was able to learn and still have dreams and stuff like that. That it's I'm not gonna be. I'm to tell you the truth. I really don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if why that happened, right? Because I'm not a neurobiologist or a neuroscientist. That is a big
Yeah.
question, but I don't think that the answer to that question is then therefore God.
Yeah, it's not there for God, but it leaves the question for interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it can lead it up for interpretation, but it doesn't show that consciousness comes from somewhere else other than the brain. It just shows that there could be a deeper mechanism that we don't understand yet.
Yeah, it's good. But
Exactly.
yeah,
I do have other guests. I want to go ahead and get to them, but you go ahead and come back anytime. I'll be on tomorrow with Bar. All right.
okay.
All right. Hey, appreciate you.
I wanted to talk to Zekti. Damn.
Damn. Isn't he the guy that doesn't want to talk to you?
The moment I speak, he did it again today. Actually, he said, "Ask you."
Gotcha. Satham, let me talk to Bando really quickly. All right. I'll bring you back up whenever you want to come back up. All right.
Sure.
Appreciate
Take, yeah.
No
Drop
problem.
me then.
Hey, Bando, how's it going? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about number 1 or number 2?
I want to talk about number 2.
All right, great. Give me 1 second. Gary Phillips, are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about number 1, right?
Yeah, number 1.
All right, gotcha.
Number 1.
Not a problem. Mute for me real quick. I'll be right with you. All right. Bando, how's it going? You said that you're at least 18. You want to talk about number 2? Yeah. So why do you think I should believe in a God? I'm sorry, excuse me. Why do you think I should believe in a God?
Because we have such limited information when it comes to the origins of the universe. It'd be nonsensical to take your chances of not believing in a God.
I don't see how that follows. Just because we have limited information doesn't mean that God is the answer to that lack of information.
I propose this, that if God doesn't exist, the worst that could happen is nothing. If God does exist and all the what you fables are true, the worst thing that's going to happen is, if he does exist, the worst thing that's going to happen is
nothing.
You go to hell, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, that's kind of Pascal's wager. Which hell am I going to? Am I going to the Muslim hell, the Hindu hell, the Shinto hell, the other religions that don't have a hell? Which hell am I going to?
You can only decide that when you take the leap and say, you know what, maybe there might be a God, and then need to study the different religions to establish which one makes most sense.
But the problem is that what if none of them make sense? And not only that, again, which hell is it?
Well, the ifs and buts don't really matter until you study yourself.
Yeah, but the thing is, some religions don't have a hell. Like, let's say that African traditional religion makes the most sense to me, right? In African traditional religion, hell doesn't exist. There is no hell in African traditional religion. So if I start worshiping Erzuli and Shango, let's say I don't worship Erzuli and Shango, am I not going to go to hell in the Hindu religion because I didn't worship my ancestors' gods? Like, what would it be? You see how this doesn't make sense, right?
Well, I can propose why those religions don't make sense.
Okay, why doesn't Haitian voodoo make sense?
Haitian voodoo, which god do they believe in?
They believe in the one almighty God, Bondier, and Bondier sends his intercessors such as Erzuli, Shango, Ogun, Yamoja. He sends those spirits to guide us in our lives and into the afterlife as well, where we'll be with our ancestors in the ancestral plane and to help our descendants once we're gone.
Right. So there's only one supreme God. They believe in only one supreme God, and these spirits that they send out, are they? What are they? Are they just spirits, or what are they exactly?
They're spirits. They're deities. Like they're spirits. They have power, right? And they have godlike power. But they're still under Bondier.
Yeah. So the problem is, if you're putting a smaller God underneath a higher God, the word God no longer has true meaning.
Yeah, it does.
That's why. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Because God by definition means all powerful, all supreme.
Yeah, and that God is all supreme. The Bondier is all supreme.
Yeah, the Bondier is also. What about the spirits? Are they all supreme?
No, they're under Bondier, even though they're
so
supreme over us.
They're a lesser God, right?
Yeah, they're under the Bondier because the Bondier doesn't interact with the universe. It's the other spirits that does.
Right. So the other spirits that are lesser than God don't really have the true meaning of God because they're not fully supreme.
What do you mean? Like, because God is just a title. What are you talking about?
the meaning of God itself is to be all powerful, all supreme. So if you give that title to something that's not all powerful, all supreme, then that title kind of loses all meaning.
Right. So the Bondier is all supreme over the spirits.
Over the spirits, but the spirits are seen as a type of God, right?
Yeah. Well, they're intercessors.
Yeah, a type of a lesser God, right?
No, they're intercessors.
So they're not a lesser God now. They're just intercessors.
No, they're intercessors. They do have godlike power, compared to us, but they're intercessors.
Right. Do they demand worship, these intercessors?
No. And that's the thing. Like there's different religions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The thing is, when you said that they're like lesser types of gods, right? Or do you retract that and say they're not lesser types of gods? When you say godlike power, what do you mean when you say godlike power? What does that mean?
Meaning that they can, like, when I say godlike power, I mean, like, you know, things that we can't do, they can do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure how else to say godlike power. They have abilities that we don't have. They can bring you to the crossroads. They can interfere in our daily lives. They can make people sick out of nowhere, stuff like that.
Oh, I see. Okay. And they're only selected for a particular tribe or people, or are they for everybody?
They're for black people only. Well, they're for Haitians, really. It's Haitian voodoo, so it's really for Haitians only. If you try to do Haitian voodoo, they won't listen to you because they view you as part of the colonizers that abuse their descendants, so they're not going to do anything for you.
Yeah. This is where I would see a flaw in that religion and say, I personally never colonized anybody. I personally never done anything to nobody. And I believe if God is the Most High, He'd be the most just as well. That is not just to judge me for something that possibly my great granddad did.
If He's just, why did He let your great granddad do that?
Because everybody gets judged on their own account. That's true justice.
Yeah,
but if I'm getting punished for something my great granddad did,
hold on, Benno, that doesn't really answer my question. I get that people get judged on their own account. The question is, why didn't He stop them, knowing that it's unjust?
Because that would also be unjust if He stopped them.
Oh, okay. So letting slave drivers and rapists is unjust to stop. Sounds kind of crazy.
Well, if there's no rape or no slave driving, then there'd be no wrong answers, would there? It's like having a test in a university or a test center with no wrong questions. There'd be no test.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any tests.
Well, then how do you expect to pass?
There shouldn't be anything to pass. That's the point. Well, that's why why I think I prefer African traditional religions over what you're saying. They don't put us through any tests.
So wait. Let me get this straight. So the African religion, basically, you're born and you've done nothing wrong personally, but you're doomed to be not sent a spirit because you're born that way.
It's not that you're doomed to anything. There is no doom. There is no saviorism in African traditional religion. African traditional religion is all about ancestral continuity and like connections to your community. Hey, not to turn yet.
But you said
it's about hold on. African traditional religion is about ancestral continuity and reciprocal community. That's what it's all about. Now, when it comes to Haitian voodoo, it won't work for you because Haitian voodoo is a diaspora religion that was born out of the Atlantic slave trade. So that means that it's only for a certain lineage. The same thing with hoodoo or Jamaican obia. Those won't work for people outside those cultures. Now, I'm Haitian, right? I can't do hoodoo because hoodoo is for African Americans. That's for their specific lineage. Now, can those spirits communicate to each other? Of course they can. They can communicate, but I can't do hoodoo. Like the root work in hoodoo wouldn't work for me because it's for that specific group of people. That's how it works in African traditional religion. What's for your specific group of people is for a specific group of people, but the spirits can still speak to each other, sure.
And how does one contact the most? You said these spirits are intercessors, right?
Yeah, they're intercessors, correct.
So how do I, somebody who's not an African or any of these descents, how do I contact the Most High or worship the Most High?
You have to do that for your own ancestral religion. I'm not sure if you're Irish or anything like that, but they had a whole cultic thing. They had things in Celtics or Cultics. Not Cultic, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to call something down. Hey, Ralphie.
Hey, how's it going, okay?
Yeah, so because I find it interesting that he's coming here. By the way, did you get that he was a Christian or not? I think he's Christian.
Yeah, I'm
not
Christian as well.
Okay. So I found it very interesting that you're coming up here saying that that it's not just to judge the descendants based on what their ancestors did, but your God doesn't think so. Because in the Bible, it absolutely does say that the Bible does say the sins of the father follow the son. It does say that.
I'll say it again. I'm not a Christian.
Okay, pause. Everybody, pause. Okay, you're not Christian, but the thing is, why'd you use Pascal wager as that's really a Christian argument? And you also brought up hell. Hell is also something that exists in Abrahamic religions.
Could I ask something about the African-based religion you follow?
Yeah, give me. Well, I don't follow with that. I was giving an example.
He said the one.
Okay, I'm just saying. In what instance of any mythology or basis has the god decided to take on the form of man and take on the sin of humanity?
Oh,
and he falls. Not indulge in their activities.
User, it's not your turn yet. All right, so Bando, let's keep going, and you have about 5 more minutes. All right, so you said that you're not a Christian. All that is good and well, but the concept of hell that you're bringing up, that only exists within the Abrahamic religions, where if you don't believe in something, you go to hell, right? That's only in the Abrahamic religions. So are you part of one of the Abrahamic religions or what? Jewish, Muslim?
Yeah, but I'm Muslim, but what's that got to do with ancestors? Islam doesn't talk about ancestors at all.
No, I understand it doesn't talk about ancestors. What I'm saying, Bondo, I got you. What I'm saying, Bondo, is that I get that you're not Christian, but in Islam, does Allah do the same thing as Yahweh, where the sins of the father follows to the sons?
I'm gonna look it up now.
No, we do not believe that.
I almost guarantee that's not true, and I'm gonna look it up.
Wait, 1 sec. We don't believe that the sins of a great ancestor or a parent ever get passed on to a child ever.
Okay,
we don't believe that. That's nonsense.
Okay, cool.
That's unjust.
I got you. That's your religion. That's not a problem. Here's the thing. We can go through all the African traditional religions, all that stuff, right? But this discussion still hasn't given me why I should believe in a God, because you've only given me Pascal's wager, and like I said, there are tons of other religions out there that don't even have a hell. So why should I accept the Muslim one over my ancestors' one?
We only talk about the Muslim one if you accept that there could possibly be a God.
There could possibly be a God. Yeah, sure, there could possibly be a God. The same way there could be a pink dragon in the middle of Neptune. But until we have evidence of such thing being the case, what's the reason to believe
that's a false. That's false.
Okay, I'm like, okay, based on what I googled it, based on what he said, he is correct. It doesn't change that that's in the Christian Bible, and there are overlaps between the Christian Bible and Islam. This is just not one of them.
This is not one of them.
So I will give him that. But regardless of the point, right? I'm tired of white tea people. I don't know. Coming up here and saying that well, I didn't do anything. You're still benefiting from what your ancestors did.
Who told you I'm white? Who told you I'm white?
I didn't say you were. I'm saying this as a general statement. But even people who are Arab have done colonization to black people.
Who told you I'm Arab?
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Give me pause me real quick.
I never said what you were. I'm making a general statement based on historical fact, honey.
All right. So
you don't like that.
Pause me. Everybody pause me. So Bondo, pause me. Bondo, pause me. Okay, cool. So I don't know if you're if you're Arab or if you're Persian or if you're Indian, which one of those that you are, whatever they are. At the end of the day, Islam when it came into Africa, it spread through two main ways: trade and slavery. And we know that the Muslim world, the caliphates and everything like that, had slavery all throughout Africa during the Arab slave trade. I know that's not your fault. Cool, it's not your fault, but it's undoubtable that the Muslim world benefited from enslavement of my people. Right? That's number one. But the
benefited in
And also in the Quran, I believe they have derogatory names for black people that translate to slave. So he's not going to get out of there.
or at least the Arab
Whoa,
world.
whoa,
does.
whoa, whoa.
But the
Slow down.
The Arab world.
There's no religion that gives rights to slaves except for Islam.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
that's Bando.
Yep.
That's hold on, wait, pause. Bando, that's fine. I'll give that to you, right? It gives rights to slaves. Still slaves though, bro. So, but the thing is, hold on, Bando, hold on. Bando. I just want to bring it. Hold on, Bando. Here's the thing that I've always given to Muslims, right? I know the Quran says it's better to free slaves. It does say that, right?
There
So
we go.
I'll give that to you. No, hold on, Bando, chill for me, please. Bando, let's
coming
chill
off
for
from
me.
you when me, the mod, and then the host is speaking.
Exactly. You just gotta wait. All right. So I give that to you. Yeah, sure. It says it's better to free slaves. I give that to you. My only issue is that it still has slavery, and the Muslim world still has issues of racism. We all know that. But the third thing I would say is that this still does not lead us to why we should believe in a God. Number two, because we just talked about African traditional religions all this time, and then kind of moved on to something else. Let's go back to why should we believe in a God? Because only thing you gave me was that it's better to believe and not go to hell. The thing is, that's Pascal's wager, and other religions don't have a hell, such as the African traditional religion. Haitian voodoo doesn't have a hell. Santeria doesn't have a hell. Jamaican Obia doesn't have a hell. Bakanga doesn't have a hell.
I don't think Voodoo does either.
I'm Lebanese, so I have a question about the Arab slave trade statement you said.
I'll get you in a second. Go ahead.
We'll get to you. Just wait your turn.
I'm sorry. Bondo, I'm put about 5 more minutes, and then we gotta go ahead and move on. Go ahead, Bondo.
Right, no problem. So you were talking about why to believe in a god, and then you presented Pascal's wager, and then you said there could be a god, there also could be a pink dragon. But that's not the same, because that's false. Because the reason I say that is because what is the purpose of a pink dragon? What does a pink dragon do?
The pink dragon keeps Neptune in orbit.
Right.
We can make up any purpose for the pink dragon, just like we can make up any purpose for a god. It's absolutely equivalent because you don't have evidence for either.
It's very tricky to have a conversation with two people.
Okay, I get you. Just talk to me, and she may chime in for a bit.
Right. So God, in my perspective, is the one creator. He created everything.
Mm-hmm.
A pink dragon that keeps Neptune in orbit doesn't follow.
Right. Okay. Cool. So he's the one. Your guy's the one creator that created everything. Right. Over in West African Yoruba religion, Olodumare is the creator that created everything. And guess what? Yoruba religion doesn't have. It doesn't have a hell. You see what I'm saying? So again, so why should I choose Allah over Olodumare, especially since my DNA says I'm like 15% Nigerian? You can view it here in the head. I got the Igbo head over here, so you can view it in that, right? So I know I'm Igbo.
How do you know Olodumare and Allah ain't the same thing? Just one's corrupted.
Yeah, Allah is the one that's corrupted. Olodumare is the real one because black people came from. I mean, everybody descended from Africans, right? So Africans have the original access to the spiritual world. So therefore, Yoruba religion is the correct one. Olodumare is the supreme god.
Where did you get that everybody descends from African?
No, Bond, because now I'm going to call it. It is absolutely a fact that life began in Africa. This is not up for debate or discussion. That is a fact. It's such a fact that black women have a thing.
It's Morocco, Africa, though.
Hold on, user. That black women have a thing called the mitochondrial Eve. Literally, a black woman can create any shade of human. Or different hair texture, different eye colors, literally because all groups of people share that African ancestor. So yes, that is absolutely a fact that has been
Did you take that from
life in Africa.
I got a quick question, Bando. Do you
How? You
take that
reject
from
science?
Hold on.
Bando.
Okay. Wait a minute.
I said that.
Bando,
I said, did you take that analogy that we come from Africa from Darwin?
No, that's according to modern science.
that's according to literal modern science, genealogy research, that all life began in Africa.
Well,
This is not a debate.
yeah. Do you know
The oldest fossils are in Morocco.
Do you know what?
though,
Do you know what Darwin?
Morocco is in Africa, sir.
Do you know where?
Yes,
you know where
but they
Darwin
are
has to
not
say
of
about
a black color.
Hold
like
on,
I'm
hold
like,
on, everybody, hold on, pause.
People who are indigenous to Morocco are absolutely black.
Guys, everybody pause.
No,
everybody
they're
pause.
more
Hold on.
related to-
User, stop. Everybody pause.
I apologize.
All right, so everybody pause. The oldest Homo sapien bones, yes, were in Morocco. However, how old are the Lucy bones, which is the ancestor to Homo sapiens? Those were found in Kenya.
Right.
All right, so we only have a couple of seconds or
also,
Well, can I say something at least?
I got you. We all got to stop interrupting. Give me a second. All right, so we only have a few more moments with Bando. I think Satham had a question. Satham, what was your question?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask him if he believed in science or not.
Yep, I believe in science. If you mean the study of things, yeah.
Okay,
but you're still religious, which is contradictory.
So when I say science,
not at all.
I mean
Not at all.
It actually is.
The current.
I don't believe what Darwin believes when he says that we all descend from monkeys in Africa. No.
Bando.
Yeah, we don't descend from monkeys. We are monkeys. We are
That's
a
what
type of. No, Darwin didn't say. That's why I wanted to preempt this whole conversation. We'll see.
Darwin didn't say that. Also, evolution is also a fact.
Yeah,
it's a provable fact. The evolution is a thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So
and mitochondrial
that you believe in science, but you're denying science.
And mitochondrial Eve is also from Eastern Africa. You know what I mean? All right. Let's keep it going. Satham, I appreciate you. We're gonna talk to User now. I don't keep calling you User. Give me a name to give you, please.
Oh, good. You can call me Fadam.
Fadam. All right, Fadam. Did you want to talk about number one or number two?
I conservative. I don't believe in politics to any degree. Everyone has, individual, suspects that more so believe in a God. I kind of just want to retrace back to the ancestry.
Whoa, you're in the
matrix. In any religion, where is one instance of a God coming down? Okay, yeah, of course.
No, I do want to call this out because before we even continue, I want you to concede that Morocco is in Africa.
No,
correct. But the ancestors of Moroccans
hold on.
follow into more Carthaginian and then the Levantine. No, they are not. They are ancient Levantine.
They absolutely are. The indigenous Africans.
They are definitely not. No, from the actual source, the Levantine, the Carthaginians sailed through and
Stop. Fadam, you realize that the Homo sapien bones found in Morocco did not come from the Levantine area, right? They were indigenous to Morocco, that area. Those are not Levantine bones.
Indigenous. But also, again, indigenous Moroccans are black. The reason that a lot of Moroccans look the way they do today is because of colonization. Indigenous native Moroccan ancestors did not look like how they look today.
If you were in the northern African part of Northern Africa, whether it's from Morocco to Egypt, what is the color of your skin to be more like?
I'm like indigenous Africans are black.
North Africans are not. Look at the earliest Egyptian dynasty.
Guys, stop. Guys, Fadim, we're talking about 30,000 years ago. 30,000 years ago, before Out of Africa happened, or at least in the middle of it happening. 30,000 years ago. These people were not from the Levantine area, bro. So
that's not what I'm saying that for. I'm saying if you even go back all the way to even northern
Egypt. Listen.
Non-black people are not indigenous to Africa. They are not.
You're saying that you're trying to compare this to like the Amazigh people over in Morocco, right? The indigenous Moroccan, the Amazigh people. You understand?
No.
30,000 years ago, their skin color could have changed, right?
Of course, I'm saying if you go to North Africa all the way south to east to west, the skin colors are not the same.
No, we get that.
You think that all black people are dark skinned?
No.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, so what does skin tone have to do with it?
I think immediately Moroccan falls under the same category of indigenous Africa of the same
Well, I'm
level
like,
of Islam.
indigenous
I think
Africans
it's
are.
completely different.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Because this also contributes to white supremacy, right? The idea that non-black people can be African.
Yeah, guys,
indigenously.
Guys, pause me real quick.
What does black mean, though?
Hey, stop. We're not getting anywhere with this, man. I really don't care about this. Why should I believe in a God?
Why do you not believe in a God?
Because I don't have no evidence. Give me 1 second, Satan. I have no evidence that a God exists, and I have and I don't have a. Well, number one, I don't have any evidence that a God exists, and number two, it's not necessary for me to believe for me to live a good, moral life.
No, you could completely live a good moral life fine without a God, but it doesn't fit the ultimate satisfaction. It would be my personal argument. My bigger argument is, do you know what probatio diabolico means?
I don't know what it means, but I want to go back to the first thing. We have to go one by one. When you say that,
of course, it's just lack of evidence proof that there is no God.
Hold on, Fadim. Jesus Christ, hold on.
Of course. Okay.
Let's go back to the number one thing that you were saying, because I didn't understand what that meant. What do you mean by that?
Where do you find your satisfaction in life, or to define your purpose in life?
I define my purpose in life in helping others and being a service to my community, my family, and having a loving relationships with as much people as possible. That doesn't mean necessarily a sexual relationship, but a loving relationship meaning that we're there for each other and we want to service each other as much as possible in ways of being in community, uplifting each other, helping each other out in hard times, et cetera, et cetera. That's one of the main reasons I decided to become a mental health counselor, because I want to go out there to help my community, especially young black men who don't have someone like myself to uplift them and to give them encouragement and help them form a healthy pattern of masculinity. That's why that fulfills my purpose in life. I don't think I need a God for that, right? Did he get a phone call?
Sorry. It broke up on my Wi-Fi. No, I.
Okay, now he got a phone call.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Wi-Fi's bad. I think that can give you basic purpose, but what about your ultimate purpose?
That is my ultimate purpose.
What justifies as the ultimate purpose? That's temporary stuff. What's about your ultimate meaning after or before?
Like when I die?
Yeah.
That's it.
You think that's it?
That's it.
You think your creation's just a temporary thing just to exist here?
Yes, that's it. Now, of course, unless I get like super world famous like Michael Jackson, then I won't be, remembered past my great grandkids. But yeah, sure, my grandkids will remember me, right? And they'll tell their kids that this was my grandfather, and they'll show me pictures of myself and all the stuff that we're doing right now. It'll survive after we're gone, which is why we do all this for, right? But
your fulfillment then's temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary. The fact that I uplifted as much people as I can in my regular life right now, I think it's fine. I don't see the issue with that. Yeah, after I'm dead, the legacy that I live is that I raise good, productive children who's going to pass on those ideologies to their children.
So is your argument that at the end of everything, whether it's our life or someone in the future, that it just all ends?
Yeah.
So you see no purpose past it for any existence, whether everything's just a temporary thing.
Yeah. So
I'm like,
I think that's insulting your creation.
I think
that's insulting to the reality of who you are as a human.
I disagree, but I think Kay has something to go. Go ahead, Kay.
Yeah, because you keep on coming off of mute when the mod or the host is speaking. But yes, so because you're putting the thought out there that there has to be a purpose, an ultimate purpose, and there doesn't. The reality is this: God did not create Volsi or anyone on this panel. His and everyone's mother did. You came from a woman's womb. You didn't come from a man's rib, from some dirt. You came from a woman. Your creator was a woman, not a male god. And I think it's
can I just ask you to understand the biblical Hebrew of that verse?
To give that to a man.
Can I just ask you? You understand?
Yeah,
that
you're
verse.
really breaking up, fam. Like I'm not sure what's going on.
Sorry. Is this better?
That's much better. Yeah, go ahead. You said, do we understand the biblical
Sorry.
Hebrew?
She's
No, all good.
the biblical Hebrew and the understanding of that original verse of being formed from the dust and the woman taken from the man's rib.
Honestly, no, I
Life
don't know.
does not.
I got you. I don't understand.
I can give a short
Yes. No, that
10-second explanation.
No, that's fine, right? What I'm trying to say is that whatever the biblical Hebrew says, that really doesn't matter. I don't think that's true. There's no evidence that it is true.
That goes back to my probation deal. Why does the lack of evidence justifiably mean you get to have the acceptance that there is no God?
Because there is no, because you do not accept things or the evidence to sustain. They're not a fact unless they can be sustained. Like the reality,
if you cannot disprove it, though, that's not evidence in itself.
No, that's not how that works. You have to prove something for it to be a fact, not disprove.
And if you cannot disprove it, you cannot say it's subjectively a fact.
No, that's not how that works. You prove something is true. You don't disprove something is true. That is how this works. You do not come. So at the reality and at the day, I'm like, if God exists, and I'm like, as you claim, I want you to turn on your camera and show this God, because the reality is this: if it does not exist in your five senses, then it does not exist. You have smell, you have touch, you have sight, you have hearing, you have taste. If it does not exist in your five senses, it is absolutely does not exist.
Yeah,
the proof of burden relies.
That there is a God.
Okay, can I pause real quick?
The proof of disburden.
Hold on. Okay, give me 1 second. Fatima, I need you to clarify what your question was, because I was talking about at the same time. You were saying, why does a lack of evidence? Why is a lack? I just want you to clarify. You were asking, why does the lack of
evidence is not justification for proof of a fact?
It is justification.
You cannot say just because something does not have enough evidence to show that it is factual.
Okay, pause. Yeah, sure. If you say that the lack of evidence, we can't say that because we don't have evidence, therefore it's definitely not true. But we can say because of there's no evidence for it, I don't believe your claim. We can definitely say that.
But I think we can, though. If there's no evidence,
course, you can absolutely.
But I think we can, though. I think that is the point. If you do not have evidence to prove something is true, then we absolutely can say until there is evidence that we can say that the claim is not true because there is no evidence to prove such. And like if you went to a doctor, like if you didn't have evidence that was a doctor, that he had a medical license, you don't disprove that he's a doctor. He can show you his medical license, and you can go look up his medical license at whatever state medical board. You would not make the argument that you have to disprove he's a doctor. No, you would make the argument that you have to prove it, that he has a medical certification.
Does the possibility still exist?
Does what possibility still exist?
For him to be a doctor, even if it's not been disproven, does the possibility exist?
The possibility is irrelevant if the claim has not been substantiated.
But you have not disproven it.
It is on you to substantiate the claim. It is not on us to disprove a claim. It is on you.
You cannot claim it's disproven if it's not disproven.
You can, though.
Here's
because
the thing.
you don't disprove something.
No, until something is actually disproven, you can't disprove it.
Hold on, Fadim. Let's say this, right? For the sake of argument, it's possible he's a doctor, right? But the thing is, because we don't have any evidence that he is a doctor, it could be possible that he is a doctor. It could be also possible that he's a psychologist. It could be possible that he's a plumber. It could be possible he's an electrician, right? Doctor is just only one out of multiple possibilities. But we're there to see a doctor. So until we can prove that he is one, should we trust him? So we just say, should we just go into this like little office with a pipe hanging halfway out the window, dripping kerosene, and he says, "Yes, I'm a doctor. Trust me, bro." You're probably gonna walk out that office.
That's your experience with that doctor. That's not my experience with
I get it, but you're gonna.
The experience is irrelevant. The experience does not matter because at the end of the day, is he a doctor or is he not? Yeah. Is he or is he not? Doctors are a specific thing. Words, mean things.
I still argue you haven't disproven it. That's the thing. It's a
But
personal experience.
if
Some
there
will
is
face
no
it, some
medical
won't.
certification, there is no evidence, therefore he is not a doctor. You cannot prove it. That is the point. You
You
are
haven't
making
found
a
the
claim.
evidence yourself. I think that's the bigger issue.
I'm like, no,
here's
no,
the
it
issue
is
that
not
I'm
on
finding,
me
right?
to find the evidence. It is you.
Yeah,
You
let
are
me just say
the
this.
deceiver.
Let me just say this. When it comes to like personal experience, right? One thing that you have to realize is that personal experience, it may be evidence to you, but it's hearsay to everybody else, right? When we need demonstrable evidence,
That's not what I'm
hold
saying.
on, wait, hold on. When I say evidence, I mean something demonstrable, not something that just is your experience, something that you can show to everyone. And if you can't do that, then you don't really have good evidence.
Because here is the reality. He will
Gotcha.
not, in no other instance outside of religion, do people claim if you can't disprove it, then it's not a fact. Because let's be clear. For example, in about a couple months, I'm not going to get into logistics. I have to go to a court to testify. For a friend, but something that happened to her. You do not get a trial without there being, guess what? Evidence of the crime. You will not go into
Is there not
any
evidence
court
that acts
of
against
law.
you?
There's evidence that
you
acts
do not go
against you,
into
right?
any court of law without evidence. Evidence.
Yeah, prospective evidence too. That exists in court of laws.
Right. Hold on, because like let's go down.
Evidence. Demonstrable evidence is how you get put behind bars.
All right, so
you have video evidence. Let's say that.
Hold on. Let's go down this analogy of evidence, right? In a court of law. Let's say that someone said that Fadim unalived somebody wearing a purple shirt, right? And that person said that I saw it. That could be evidence against you. But let's say I said, hey, Fadim was with me on Saturday night and we were in an arcade. That's also evidence for you, right? So like now you have two different claims. One person says I saw you commit the murder. The other person says you were with me at the time of the murder.
And guess what they would do? They would go check the arcade cameras to see if you were there that night. They might get a warrant to see if you were there at the arcade around the time.
Exactly.
And that would be demonstrable evidence. You do not get to go to in any court of law in this country and get committed for a crime, and there is no evidence for it, whether it be DNA evidence, whether it be
defense versus murder,
camera, whatever type of evidence, it is still evidence. You are asking us,
but you say it's murder. I say it's self-defense.
Without any evidence of any type. You are asking us, and you're saying if we cannot disprove it, then that means it cannot. We cannot say it does not exist. That is.
Can you prove it's murder versus I prove it's self-defense?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a fallacy for you to say to disprove something that has not been proven to exist, and it's not. You can say it's not.
All right.
That's foolish.
All right. So Fadim, murder versus.
It's literally the devil's argument.
Hold on. Fadim. Murder versus self-defense. Yeah. Even that could have evidence, unless it's a state like Florida and there stands your ground and no one saw it, which is how Zimmerman got away with killing Trayvon Martin, right? So there was no one around to saw it, so you can only go by what the person said.
No, I agree with that completely.
Guess what? Because there was no. Guess what, Rosie? Evidence. He could not get charged.
He couldn't be charged. Exactly.
But you're still missing the point that the evidence could be completely perspective based. You take the evidence and view it as murder. I take the evidence and view it as self-defense. There's still perspective basis.
That's not how evidence works. Evidence.
No, yes, it is.
Demonstrable.
It's going on right now in Plano, Texas, with that Carl Anthony. Some people say he acted in self-defense.
Because we have evidence that Carl Anthony did not do what y'all are saying.
And some people say your evidence would be wrong.
Evidence can never be wrong because evidence can be proven.
All right, so for Fadim,
the evidence is perspective based. That's what you're missing.
Hold on. What you're running to is actually a problem in the legal field, right? So when that happens, when it's different perspectives, then you bring in experts to say that was this a defensive move? Or are these defensive wounds? Because those things do happen, right? For a person to say, when a person says it was self-defense, they would say, okay, let's look at the scene of the crime. What was going on? if a person moves this way or that way, if a person has a stab wound in their arm and it's going upwards instead of it going the other way, then we can say that, okay, this one is going forward and this one is going backward, which means that in this scenario, it would be aggressive, and the other scenario it will be defensive. Which way does the wound
does
go?
the expert
You know what I'm saying?
determine though the outcome of that trial?
They don't. But
Exactly.
but
The
what we're
jury's
trying to get to, hold on, what we're trying to get to with this analogy is that, yeah, I get what you're saying about its perspective,
And the
based
jury
even
makes a determination based off evidence.
So I get what you're saying, that it's perspective based, but when even under perspective bases, there's still ways that we can show demonstrably which perspective is the correct one. It's not just a guess, or not just we're just arguing over it. You know what I mean?
Unless you were there, you will never be able to know the full story.
That's not true.
But
because if I
100% that's true.
No,
You've
it's
seen it
not
overturned
true.
and everything.
I'm like, no.
You've seen cases overturned over it.
Because that's not the reason why this the case. Because if let's say that I go out somewhere and someone claimed that I murdered them. Guess what they can do? They can take my fingerprints and try to see if it matches any of the fingerprints at the scene of the crime.
That's confirming a murder, not justifying the reason.
No. Stay on me while I'm talking. They can do, or see if my fingerprints are on the murder weapon. The idea that you're claiming that because if you're not there, or there's no video evidence that you cannot know definitively
that is not what I'm saying.
How the crime was committed is absolutely untrue, and it is a fallacy because you're trying to get around the evidence point.
No, that is not what I'm saying.
You have no evidence for your claim, and you're trying to justify that.
No, I'm not. I'm going to use your example.
Asking for, why? The question is, why should Volsi believe in a God?
Of course.
He says he does not believe in a God because there is no evidence. Provide demonstrable evidence. You have a claim. Provide the demonstrable evidence.
Okay. Understood. I apologize. I just want to say, in that example you gave, there are fingerprints found at the crime. My argument was not the crime was committed or not. It was, what is the intention? Was it murder or self-defense? And like he said perfectly, you can have those educated scenarios where experts come on. View the knife.
But those educated scenarios are based off something. They're based on evidence.
But that still does not show the true intent.
Because you cannot claim that
that's not your true intent.
Because there is no evidence.
Pause me, you guys. We are out of time. We gotta go ahead and move on. But Fadim, please come back on next time. We can talk more. Okay.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you, sir.
Not a problem. I appreciate you. All right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and move on. Thank y'all so much for being here. Let me just do a few things. Number one, my shirt. If you see my shirt, this is the Bash official Bash shirt. As you can see, that's dope.
It's gonna be happening in a few weeks. I'm not gonna be able to make it.
That's dope, right? Yeah, see that shirt.
I'm not unfortunately going to be able to make it.
No, I get it. It's fine. But yeah, the Bash Cookout is going down next week. If you are able to make it, I'll send you the link to get you your own Bash shirt. So you guys can go ahead and get this. The link will be in my bio right after this live. I do appreciate y'all. If you're watching me over from Facebook, I appreciate you so much. The link is pinned for you to join. You can talk to me over there. Go ahead and join in on the live and we can have a discussion. Once again, if you're watching me over on the Black Atheist Coalition, thank you so much for watching me on the Black Atheist Coalition. If you're watching me on Volsi Thoughts, thank you so much for watching me there over on Volsi Thoughts. And if you're watching me on the Deconstruction Junction, once again, I thank y'all as well. Keep the conversation going. You guys are wonderful. I appreciate y'all for being here. We are now gonna move on to Nails. Nails, how's it going, Nails? Are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about number one or number two?
Number two. Talk about number two.
I'm 31.
I'm like, yes. I'm like, so I want to get to your comment, right? It absolutely it's not on the atheist to provide evidence. It absolutely is on the theist. The theist is making the claim.
Why not?
So hold on. Let's clear up some things first. All right. So you want to go on number two. So Nails, are you any type of organized religion, or you just believe in a God in general?
True.
No, I'm a Christian.
You are a Christian. All right.
Oh, we all knew he was a Christian from that comment.
Oh, okay, yeah, I couldn't guess, but it's all good and well. All right, so Nels, you are a Christian now. Not only do I have no evidence to believe in a God, I don't think I needed for me to live a life of morals, purpose, drive, etc. And the third thing, just personally, I know you may disagree with it. I don't think black people should even be Christian. You know what I mean? Now, if another group of people like Europeans want to be Christian because of how much they control it, yeah, sure, they can be. But as far as black people, I don't think that we should be. I think this is the religion of our enslavers, the religion of our colonizers. It also forces us to denigrate and give up a lot of our spiritual heritage. Now, we did add a lot of our spiritual heritage into Christianity, sure, like having the Holy Ghost. That didn't exist in Christianity before black people. We bought that in because of our African traditional religion of possession and stuff like that. So it's because of us that white people do the Holy Ghost now. You know what I'm saying? So all that didn't exist in Christianity before us. So we did add our own spiritual traditions into Christianity, but I don't think that we need Christianity in order to express our own spiritual traditions, especially when we denigrate it, etc., stuff like that. I know I said a lot, but I do want to know what the rest of what you said. Why do you think we should be Christian or believe in a God?
Oh, so gotcha. Yeah, I think we should be Christian because it's the truth. The Bible is the truth. As far as Christianity and black,
what evidence?
All right. I got you. Let's do this. All right, Nels. I'm gonna put some time on the clock. Right, you're gonna talk to me for at least about 10 minutes. All right, Kay is gonna be fair. Because I know she will. She'll be fair. She'll stay on mute for a second. You'll talk to me for about 10 minutes, and then I'll put another 10 minutes on the clock. Actually, no, let me just put 20 minutes. All right. So when it gets down to about 10, you're gonna be talking to I'm sorry, Kay. You're gonna talk to Kay, okay? I'm sorry, it's been a long day. So I'll put 20 minutes on the clock. You'll talk to me first, and then you talk to Kay. Sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. So you said that you think we should be Christian because it is the truth. I was gonna ask the same question as Kay. Number one, why do you think that? Number two, what evidence do you have that it is true?
Yeah, so I think specifically the Christianity and black folks, you see the black present all over the scripture. You can even go to Song Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. You see Solomon, his wife. She said, "I'm black and I'm beautiful."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
And then when you gotcha.
Oh, and then when you look at, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, when you look at, just go to Acts chapter, I think 8 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
You see one of the first person that heard the gospel was an Ethiopian.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then when you look at the folks who have had great impact on the Christian faith, they're Africans. Tertullian from Africa, St. Augustine from Africa. So you see African presence all over the Bible, and also when it comes to Christian history, before Christianity even came to Europe, it was in Africa. The oldest church is in Africa. The oldest Bible is in Africa, Ethiopia. So it's, to me, when it comes to Christianity and black folks, I see the black presence just all over it.
Okay. Number one, when it comes to what you're talking about with Solomon, yeah, sure, he married an Ethiopian woman, Sheba. That's because that's just the geographic region of where they were at, right? Same thing with the Ethiopian that you're talking about. It's simply a consequence of geographics. That doesn't mean that black people as a whole had some sort of impact on Christianity, at least back then in its formation. We have it in modern times because much of the things that we see in modern times did come from black people. Like there wasn't, like, for example, one of the big churches right now, Hillsong United, with all their songs and all their albums. White people wasn't doing that shit before black people. So yeah, I get that we have that impact. But when it comes to the formation of Christianity, this not only did not come from black people, but I also felt that it damaged us because, again, we gave up a lot of our spiritual heritage to be part of it. Now, when we talk about St. Augustine, if I'm not mistaken, St. Augustine was Greek. But when it comes to
he was African.
St. Augustine?
Yeah, he was from North Africa.
You're talking about Augustine of Hippo?
Yeah.
Augustine of Hippo was Roman.
No, he was from North Africa.
Augustine of Hippo?
Yes, St. Augustine of Hippo.
St. Augustine of Hippo. Let me make sure of this. Where was he born? Oh, and the Roman province of Numidi. Oh yeah, you're actually
I'm
right.
like,
Yeah, he was in Africa. Yeah, he was from Africa. Okay, cool.
I'm okay,
So
but here's the thing: we have to confirm that he is an indigenous African, because just because he was born there does not necessarily mean that his ancestors are native to that landmass.
yeah, true. All right, but here's the other thing that I would say, right? Black people being within Christianity, number one, doesn't make it true. And number two, doesn't mean that this is our religion. Yeah, I'm saying, like, we have to think about Christianity as a whole, Christendom as a whole, the theology, the governance, the spirituality, the finance, everything about Christianity right now is centered in Europe. You know what I mean? All of it, all of the denominations that exist today, even the denominations that a lot of black people follow, we're just offshoots of what we got from white people. You see what I'm saying? So we don't control this religion at all. It's not ours, which is why I always say that that this is still a white religion, even though there's a bunch of black people in it. But the second thing that that I would say, yeah, they were black people within Christendom. That's all good and well, but it's still not our religion, and none of it shows to be true at the end of the day. This is still the religion of our colonizers, bro. Because at the end of the day, if I'm not mistaken, are you Ethiopian Orthodox?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. So it's like whenever people bring up Ethiopia, it's like none of you niggas is Ethiopian Orthodox. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a moot point. And not only that, the oldest Bible is Greek. It's not Ethiopian. The Codex Sinaiticus. Yeah, the Codex Sinaiticus is the oldest Bible, and that's Greek. It's not Geese. So when you said that like it was in Africa before it was in Europe, not really. They really got there around the same time because, again, a consequence of geography. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's ours. It has nothing to do with us, and we give up a lot of our spiritual traditions to be a part of it. I don't see why we should be worshiping this foreign thing or deifying a foreign culture over our own.
Gotcha. You said Did you? I know you probably look it up. I'm looking at it right now. It said the Ethiopian Bible, 4th and 5th century, is considered the oldest, mostly complete, continuous Bible in active use.
And it was in Greece, and in the first, second, around the 3rd century. So that is not true. The language that is written in is not an African language.
It is
written in. No, it's not. Greek and Hebrew are not African.
No. I know that, but I'm stating the Ethiopian Bible was not written in Greek, sis.
All right, no, I know that. I'm saying,
the language that the Bible is written in is written in Greek and language.
Yes. Let me respond to her because she's saying a lot.
Pause. I'll let you respond, but hold on. Wait. You made a claim that is also false because I looked it up the same way you were. Oldest complete Christian Bibles, Codex Sinaiticus, 330 CE. When was the Ethiopian Bibles from the 4th and 5th century? 330 CE is over 100 years before the Ethiopian Bible. So the Codex Sinaiticus is older, not the Ethiopian Bible.
I don't know what you're looking at, but I'm looking at it right now. So
when was the Ethiopian Bible written? 4th century,
4th,
correct?
5th century. It says considered the oldest.
And the Codex Sinaiticus was written in 330. So which one is older, 330 or 400?
Now it has a cognitive dissonance, like most Black Christians do.
No,
that's a big statement.
Which one is older, 330 or 4?
Yeah, 330.
So the Codex Sinaiticus is the oldest Bible, not the Ethiopian Bible.
Yeah, I don't know why they're saying the Ethiopian Bible is also the oldest.
It's not though.
It's the oldest one that's still in continuous use. The Codex Sinaiticus is not in continuous use. But the oldest Bible, period.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the old. I literally said the oldest one we have today.
Right.
I didn't say the oldest in history. I said the oldest one we have today.
Hold on. That's possible. The oldest one that's still in use is the Ethiopian Bible because people don't use the Codex Sinaiticus anymore. But the oldest Bible, I got you. But the oldest Bible is the Codex Sinaiticus. So when people say that that the oldest Bible is Ethiopian, it's not.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't say that. Bible. If I say that, I apologize, but I didn't say that. I said the oldest one that we have today,
still in use. Yeah, it's the Ethiopian Bible.
That's all I said.
But that's still irrelevant because it's not.
That's not irrelevant because we're talking about Christianity in Africa.
But it is.
That is very relevant.
but because we're talking about black people being Christian.
I
Right? And
know.
we're talking
So
about,
that
no,
is
no, no,
relevant
hold
to
on, let me, because for the past 10, 20 minutes, like Bosie, like I gave you fairness, I was on mute. Was I not, Bosie? Did you not see that I was on mute?
You're on mute.
So when I'm speaking, right? So again, we're talking about black people being Christians, right? If it's not native to the African continent, it is absolutely valid for me to say that it is irrelevant for you to bring up the Ethiopia when it's not the oldest. Just because it's the oldest in use does not make it the oldest. As we just talked about, the Canon Sinaiticus is older than the Ethiopian Bible. So the reality is this. Christianity is not native to Africa or to black people. In fact, many African spiritualities, such as Yoruba religion, actually predate Christianity by thousands of years. Thousands. The idea, so it is irrelevant for you to bring up the Ethiopian Bible. Also, here's another part of the conversation. Black Americans and people who are descendants of the transatlantic slave trade are descendants of West and Central Africans. So bring up East Africa to prove a point is viewed. Because how they got Christianity and how you came to be Christian are not the same thing. Mute point.
That's what I would say too. That it's pretty much a moot point, because it's like doesn't really matter that Ethiopia got Christianity before the rest of Western Africa. We're Western African descent, and none of y'all is Ethiopian Orthodox anyway. And the way that Ethiopian Orthodox operates completely different from the way that mainstream Black Christianity operates, especially in the West. A lot of y'all would even call it demonic, to tell you the truth, because I showed my mama a video of Ethiopian Orthodox, and she called it demonic. You know what I'm saying? So the way that it operates over there is not the way that it would operate regularly. I think if Christianity was allowed to spread in Africa naturally, it would look more like revivalism, or it would even look more like Haitian voodoo. You know what I'm saying? But like, it didn't spread naturally. It spread through colonialism. So that's why I don't think we should be part of it. But I want to be fair. I know that was a lot that what we said, Nels. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit more time on the clock, because I do want to be fair and give you more time to respond. Go ahead and what you were gonna respond to. I'm putting more time on the clock for you. All right, go ahead.
Gotcha. Appreciate it. So she made an argument. She stated that just because something predates something, that automatically means that it is false. So you're saying that antiquity is what defined truth, or what determined truth? Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I said.
Then why did you say why did you say
you know
that
what the
let me
context
can
of
I
what
finish
said.
my thought? So why did you say that African spirituality predates Christian? What was the point of bringing that up if that's not your argument?
Well, what was the point? Well, I brought it up for this reason. The mere fact of the matter is, you're talking about the Ethiopian Bible, where, as we just proven that it was not originally in Africa. Okay, it's not native to Africa. That was the point. That the African spirituality that is native to Africa actually predates the religion that you're claiming. That is absolutely the point I was coming from.
I got you, but you say that to say what?
To go to Rosie's point, the idea that Black people should not be Christian. The reason that you are Christian today is because of the transatlantic slave trade, and there's no way you can get around that point.
That's false.
No, it's not false. It is a historical fact.
You can't. If I said that's false, you can't come back and say that's not false without giving evidence.
Oh, wait.
We've been talking about
what is your
evidence.
ethnicity?
Wait. So no. Let me just make sure about this, right? I'm Haitian. Kay is African American or Black American. Are you also Black American?
No, I'm West African.
Oh, you West African. Oh, okay, this is even worse. You definitely got it through slavery.
It's even proven.
You definitely got the colonialism. Hold on, wait.
Because of my African history.
Wait, hold on, wait. Which African? Nigerian, Ghanaian, Benin?
Oh, none of that. Liberia.
Oh, definitely got it through colonialism. Definitely got it through colonialism.
Liberia.
What? You from Liberia? You her cousin, bro.
Oh
Y'all
my
cousins. Y'all cousins.
Hold up. What do you mean
Liberian,
by
you
that?
cousins, bro. Hold
What do
on.
you mean? No. I get it. With my sister, all black folks are my people, but I get it. But I'm just stating, like, what do you mean?
Well, Liberia and African Americans specifically.
I know
like,
the
are
history
you?
says,
Wait, are
but
you?
I'm stating. Let's keep on topic.
I got you. I just want to know, Nels, are you Americo-Liberian?
I don't know what I am.
You definitely
If you're
got it.
American Liberian, then you're not even my cousin. You're my sibling.
You're the sibling, bro. You're a long sibling. But okay. I'm sorry. Let's get back.
Let's take on topic.
But let's get back. All right. So here's the thing. When it comes to Western Africa, right? When it comes to the history of that region, we know that other religions existed prior to Christianity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reaching that region. So when we say that you wouldn't have been Christian without colonialism, that is absolutely true, because the way that it was introduced into Western Africa was through colonialism. Now, Islam was introduced into Western Africa through trade and then through slavery, which is how it spread. But when it came to Christianity, we met the Portuguese missionaries first, and then it started to spread over, right? That's how it happened. So that's the entire point there. Without colonialism, none of our parents, or probably even you, wouldn't be Christian. That's what we mean by that. Do you disagree? Do you think that we would would have been Christian? Because now,
disagree.
I got you.
That's a big statement to make. You don't have to prove that. You can't just say.
I got you. Now, Christianity got introduced to Western Africa hundreds of years ago. So yeah, it's feasible that some families, if colonialism and slavery never happened, some families in Western Africa would have still been Christian because of that contact. Because there's Christians in Japan, right? So like there's that it could have happened, but the majority of Japan now, if they choose a religion, is Shinto. Same thing in China. The majority of them
going to say. The majority of Japanese people are not
Christian,
which is the point.
Exactly. So that's what we're trying to say. It would be less likely. Let's do that. Let's say it'll be less likely that you would have been Christian if it wasn't for colonialism. Because even though colonialism happened all over the world, those who didn't get colonized as much as we did, they still retained their religion. You see what I mean? Make sense enough?
So, gotcha. So I guess you're saying, this is your argument. Mm-hmm. You're saying if colonialism never happened, my people would not be Christian.
My position is that it would be less likely, a lot less likely. Just like how
it would be highly unlikely.
If I just show that Christianity was present in Africa before it even got into Europe, if I just show that,
but we just disproved that by bringing up the Carnus-Sinaiticus. We just disproved.
No, you did not. You did not.
We did though. We did.
You did not.
We did.
All right.
But we did.
Two things. Nels. The church. Where is Corinth? Where's Corinth? Corinth is in Greece, correct?
Yeah.
Was Paul writing to the church in Corinth?
Yeah, he was writing to the church in Corinth. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was in that. That means that it was in Greece before it was in it spread throughout Africa, correct?
Because you're not going to tell me that Christianity was in Africa before Greece. You're not going to make that argument.
But Philip, you got to understand, right? So Philip, he evangelized to an African before Paul even started his ministry.
No, of course, I understand that. Now, I'm not doubting that, right? But I'm talking about it not spreading, not giving it to one person. I'm talking about the way that it spread throughout all of Africa, especially Western and Central. It wasn't, that didn't happen until colonialism days. Before then, we're doing something else. But if we go back to antiquity, if you said that it was in Africa before it was in Europe, not necessarily, not really true. These things, because of geographical consequences, they were spreading around the same time. Yeah, I mean, I would say that it was in Greece at least a decade before it got to, at least hundreds of years actually before it got to Ethiopia, and it was like sure in Egypt and Northern Africa, right? We can probably say that, but these were happening at least within a couple of years of each other. So who had it first is kind of irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't show that us as people who are Western and Central African descent had any type of impact, or it was with us anytime before Europeans.
So you're saying it doesn't matter where it was first?
No, not necessarily.
Whether it was in Africa?
My ultimate argument is that it doesn't matter, because even if we give it to you that it was in Africa, hold on, let me just finish this. My ultimate argument is that it doesn't matter, because even if it was in Africa before it was in Europe, let's say that it was in Ethiopia before it was in Europe, it wasn't, but let's say that it was. At the end of the day,
it doesn't apply to you as a West African.
Yeah.
That's
At the end of the day, who controls the religion today? Where does the spirituality, the finance, everything that we know about the theology, all the most prominent philosophers of Christianity, the governance of Christianity, all of the denominations, except for Ethiopian Orthodox, it's all from Europe. The majority of them, the vast majority. The only indigenous African denominations are Ethiopian Orthodox and probably Rastafarianism, if you count that. But the rest of them are straight from Europe, even the ones that black people follow today. You know what I'm saying? So they control it, not us. It's not our religion.
Yeah, I won't say they control it. I will agree in a sense of there's a false Christianity that white folks have kind of made up to subjugate black folks. However, though, when I look at the Bible, I see the black present all over it. And when I look in church history, I see black folks contributing to the Christian faith more significant before Christianity even came into modern day Europe. You see black present all over Christianity.
Right.
So for me, as a black Christian, I distinct between the perverted version of of Christianity that try to subjugate black folks, and I agree with Frederick Douglass when he said that the Christianity of the land is not the Christianity of the Bible. I agree with Sojourner Truth, who was a Christian. I agree with Nat Turner. So I agree with these ancestors who were still Christians, but were able to distinct the perverted version of Christianity here in the West from the true and biblical Christianity.
Right, but here's the problem. Who decides what's the true biblical Christianity? Because anybody can.
They were still Christians as a result of slavery. To get around that.
Yeah. That's number one. They were still Christian because of the results of colonialism and slavery. But number two, when it comes to who decides which one it is, you said the Bible. Here's the problem.
Yes.
No one has come down as the arbiter to say that this is how you should take these verses. We're all interpreting them the way that we want. Because you can interpret David and Goliath as a real story, and I can interpret David and Goliath as a mythology of conquering your obstacles. You know what I'm saying? Which one of us is right? Like it's that's the issue there. Yeah, if I'm saying, because right now there was even someone that tweeted this out, that what I always say, right? The way that racist people interpret the verses of loving your neighbor, they can easily look at me and look at you and say, you're not my neighbor. You see what I'm saying? So that's how they interpret it. Jesus has never come back to say that. No, when I say love your neighbor, I meant everybody. He's never come back to say that. So until that happens, or I don't think it will, but unless something like that happens, their interpretation is just as valid as yours, because no one is saying, because there's no one's been, he hasn't, the savior that both of you worship has not come back to say which one of you is right. You see what I'm saying? So that's the problem that we're dealing with when it comes to Christianity. You can say that they're following perverted version, but that's literally no true Scotsman.
I got you. The reason I said the Bible is because I believe the Bible is clear. I believe in the author intention of the text. I don't believe the interpreter defined the meaning. I believe the author of the text.
Who's the author?
Defined the meaning.
Who's the author?
Who's the author?
The author of the text?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
That depends, right? Okay, so when let's go back to my example about love your neighbor. Who's the author of that?
So the gospel. So that is in the gospels.
I understand that's in the gospels, but let's take that verse in particular. Whichever gospel that was, Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John. Who was the author of those? Do you know?
Yes, I do. So
Okay, who?
Matthew was the author, but as Christians, we believe in dual authorship because of I'm sure you heard this verse, 1 Timothy 3:16. All scripture is God's breathed, is inspired by God.
Inspired by God. Yeah, I
And
know.
it's
But
profitable.
But it's not
But
written.
but here's the
Not written.
right. Here's the problem that we're running into. Number one, Matthew is anonymous. We actually don't know who wrote Matthew. But number two, let's say that you say Matthew wrote Matthew and then God inspired him to write Matthew. Now, how do we know that? Because Matthew is dead. And not only that, you said that for the original intention of the author, Matthew is dead. So how do you know his intention? God has never come down to say that Matthew meant when he said love your neighbor, meaning that everybody. He didn't. The God's never done that. So when you say that the intent of the author of love your neighbor meant everyone, how do you know that was his intent? Because he didn't write that anywhere. He's dead, and you can't ask him. And God's never come back down to say this is the clear definition of it. So how did you come with that interpretation?
Gotcha. You seem to be a scholar, and so you know that when you're looking at a document, in order to find the thesis or the main argument or purpose of an author, you want to usually is in the introduction, or you can find it at some other place in the book to see this is what the author is trying to say. So when you look at Matthew chapter 1, he tells you right off the bat what he's trying to do. This is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah.
So the Bible claims that you cannot say
you asked me
that was his intention.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. When you read a book, you don't need the author to be whispering in your ear and telling you. You read the book, you can understand what that book is talking about based on you reading the book.
Yeah,
just because the author is not whispering in your ear doesn't mean we can't know the purpose.
No, of course, I get that, right? But when it comes to something as interpretive as the Bible, we just either of us can come up with any of interpretations that we want.
No,
but when it comes to
that's why in Christianity,
why do you
no, because I'm not gonna let you get around this point. In Christianity, there are thousands of different denominations because guess what? The Bible is interpreted differently by different people. And here is the reality, right? Your omnibenevolent, all-powerful God could not even make the Bible clear enough and distinct enough for his own followers. That now there are different denominations because different denominations interpret the Bible differently. So none of y'all can even agree on the interpretation of the Bible, which is why there's many different denominations. Point blank, period.
Right. So I was gonna say this, right? When it comes to Matthew, the genealogy doesn't really tell us anything. It's just saying that this is how we know that Jesus is. Oh crap! He left.
I didn't drop him.
I didn't drop him. I didn't drop him.
Okay.
I just want to get to the genealogy part. All right. So yeah, I did want to make this a. Is he come back up? Is that he's come back up? Oh, that's Caddy. That's Caddy. Okay, cool. Nels, whenever you can come back up, go ahead and come back up. If he's still there, his phone might have died. Oh, there he is. There he is. I'm not sure if his phone died or something. All right, we're gonna continue with Nels. We're gonna get to Hero, guys, because Hero has been patient. I just want to give the last few minutes to Nels, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on. Nels, I just want to write out that the genealogy of Jesus doesn't really tell us what the purpose of the verses are. It's just giving us a genealogy. So
no. So he's saying this is what he's saying. He's saying this is the genealogy, which is the word is Genesis. In Greek, this is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So when you read through the book of Matthew, you're going to see Matthew portraying Jesus as the second David, as the second Abraham, and Matthew has a lot of Old Testament prophecies that prove that Jesus is the prophet that was supposed to come. So he is stating that Jesus is the Messiah. His whole point is trying to show the audience, because he's writing to a Jewish audience. He's trying to show the audience that Jesus is the Messiah. This is his purpose.
Okay, yeah,
you can even go into Luke chapter 1. He tells you right off the bat.
Right. So no, I get it. The purpose is to write that Jesus is the Messiah, but that doesn't mean that the verse about loving your neighbor is supposed to be for the entire world, because again, how do we know that it's for, because even in the Gospels, Jesus says he's only come for come from the children of Israel, not everybody else.
And then when you go, yep, that's how he started. But you got to continue reading the book, Matthew 28. Read Matthew 28 verses 19 to 20.
Oh, Jesus changed his mind later?
He started off small, and then he extended. He told his disciples, "Go therefore, make disciples of all nations."
Oh, okay. So
baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
So yes, he did start it small, but he expanded it to the whole world.
Oh, so Jesus changed his mind.
He didn't change his mind.
So, but you just said he started small and then changed it to the whole world. So he changed his mind?
Got you. No, he did not. Because even when you go to the promise that God made to Abraham in Genesis chapter 12 and chapter 22, God told Abraham that he is going to bless the whole world through his descendant. So Jesus came to the Jewish people first because he himself was a Jew, but the whole plan was to expand it to the whole world.
Okay, so
it was a progression, not a change of change. It wasn't a pivot.
So the Jews will change. Will bless the world. Is that what we're saying?
No. The Jew is not saying that the Jews will bless the world. It's saying that the Messiah will come from the Jew, because Jesus was a Jew. The Messiah will come from a Jew.
Why did God choose the Savior of the world to be this upstairs group of people from the Middle East?
Because God chose Abraham, right? Why? He chose Abraham, and then you say, why did God chose Abraham?
Yeah.
No particular reason. God can choose whoever he wants to.
Okay.
So there's no like.
So God
saying
chose
there's the best people.
Okay, cool.
That's
so
not
God,
what it was.
So God chose some illiterate desert guy, and that's how we get the Savior of the world from some obscure story. When other civilizations existed beforehand, why not just go to one of those civilizations?
May I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Yahweh, I'm sorry to say this, is a Egyptian, around Egypt, desert nomad, a deity, who later gets syncretized with El, then later gets picked up by Judaism, and then later, you know what I mean, out of Judaism comes Christianity, and then, Islam, and then, Catholicism. They're also syncretized with Roman and Catholic. These Abrahamics do not know their indigenous polytheistic spirituality of the Middle East, nor do they know their history about how it colonized the rest of the world. They are choosing to believe in monotheism as if it is a way to disguise the fact that there is ritual within it. There's ritual when you do the foreskin from Judaism. There's ritual in the baptism. There's ritual in the fact that they drink the blood of Christ in the flesh. There is ritual in it. They are using symbolism to disguise it. And nobody is falling for it anymore. Yahweh is a war deity that requires blood. That is a fact. He requires blood. It is a war deity. If you're not giving Yahweh blood, you will receive family problems. You will receive a bunch of issues because you're not dealing with that energy correctly, even in a spiritual sense. There you go. That's all I'm going to say.
I got you. You know what issue I'm having, Nels? I know what the Bible says all this, right? It still doesn't show that it's true. These are just claims.
Okay. How would you kind of, what tools will you use to kind of come to the conclusion if it's true or not? What tools are you using?
The tools we can use, the tools we can use is the historical method and the scientific method, right?
Gotcha.
Now the historical method and the scientific method, it can't show the supernatural to actually be true. So until we can find a way to do that, why should we accept any of this to be true?
Gotcha. So your argument is, since supernatural is not, so do you mean true, or do you mean that it's not probable. Because how would you know if it's true or not?
Yeah, we have to show it to even be probable, and nothing has shown that nothing has shown to be the case that it's even probable.
So you mean probable? So I guess you're saying if we cannot test it in the lab, that means it's not true. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you?
I'm not saying we can't test it in a lab. That means we can't shoot. I'm talking about like if we can't test it in a lab or in the field or find some way to show that this is a probable thing to happen, then that makes it less likely for it to be true, or at least it doesn't give us there's no really good reason to believe it.
Gotcha. So I will say that it's not that it's not true, is that you have not been given probable reason to believe that it's true.
Correct.
And so I got you.
I don't think
I got
you have either.
Oh, 100%. I believe that it's true. And this is why I believe it's true. And this comes back to God, right? So if God is the most powerful being in all the world, he's the creator of the world, he can do the supernatural. He can do what is supernatural to us because he's the most powerful being in the world.
You still have a problem.
So it makes sense.
No, so you still have a problem.
How so?
You haven't shown that God exists yet.
I got you. So what evidence would kind of be sufficient for you?
Something that's testable.
I'm like, did you not hear me? Did you not hear me earlier?
Yes, we're building. I'm talking. We were just.
Something that's testable, repeatable, demonstrable.
All of those things. If it, does it exist in your five senses?
So you saying that anything that doesn't exist in the five senses is not real?
Probably isn't.
I'm like, can you see, touch, feel, experience something? If you cannot do that, then it is not a real thing.
You say, can you see, touch, feel?
I would expand it to or clarify to say this: something that's empirical, meaning not just something that you can see, but something that you can also show to me.
But that's the point. But that was the point. Like you could see it, so you can show it to other people.
Right. Like for example, like if I told you I have a Bluetooth mouse and you ask me to prove it, like ask me to prove that I have a Bluetooth mouse right now.
I know you can prove it, brother. I see it.
Yeah.
I got you. So if you have that, so that creates a lot of problem though, if that's your narrow perspective or narrow definition of evidence. You have a problem.
For example,
because
real person.
Can I finish?
See,
Oh,
you can see my hand. You can see the melanated side of my hand. I could prove I am a black person. I could turn on my camera and you can see the melanated side of my hand. Prove your God.
Right. I understand that we're gonna run into a problem, right? Because there are some things that we can't demonstrably see, like dark matter. We can only see that. We can only detect its effects. So that's what I would say for the same thing with God. We can test empirical effects of dark matter. Can we do empirical tests for God?
Gotcha. So again, that is a narrow perspective of evidence.
I'm like, it's not.
Goodness.
That is the evidence we accept. You have it.
No. Let me keep going. What? Because we do got to move on to Hero. Hero has been really.
I got you.
But go ahead. What would you say? And if I come back tomorrow when I do this with Bar, because at that one, that's when we go extensively into why black people shouldn't be Christian. But you'll come back tomorrow for that one. But we're gonna give you probably like one more minute, and then we gotta get to Hero because we're over time. But go ahead.
Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for having me on. So can you prove love?
Yes.
How so?
Yes, actually,
what's the evidence?
Because you can demonstrate love in the brain. Oxytocin.
Yeah, love actually does have a hormone. Let me make. I'm not sure if it was oxytocin or serotonin. Yeah, oxytocin. The love hormone is oxytocin, right? And we've been able to test this by hooking people up to machines and showing them like their loved one, like their husbands, their wives, their family members, and seeing which chemical reacts to seeing those pictures or having those people in their presence. I think like sexual researchers have even done this as before as well. There was a whole HBO series on this too, where they will hook up people to machines and have them have sex and see which pheromone or hormone gets released whenever it's with their husband or their wife or their family member. Of course, they didn't have sex with their family members. I'm saying that. But yeah, oxytocin. Of course, they didn't have sex with their family members. Stuff like that.
No.
Gotcha. I don't want to. Yeah, I will say this and then go on to the next person on the timetable. So you just talk about sex. I'm talking about love.
No,
love.
I mean, actually,
Yes, I'm like, during sex, during sex, the love is called the love hormone, oxytocin, is released, which is why you feel people who when you have sex with your intimate partner, your spouse.
You're talking about sex. I'm not talking about merely sex.
Right. I know.
No, neither are we.
I'm talking about.
Pause. Everybody, pause. Yeah, no, I didn't just say sex. That was just an example I was giving. I also said your family members. Like, for example, they've also done this to newborn babies with their mothers. They have their mothers cuddle and hold and kiss their newborn babies, and guess what released in their brain? Oxytocin. You know what I'm saying? That's the love hormone.
I got you, brother. But you're talking about touch. You're talking about sex. I'm talking about love in a sense. I got a 15-month-old.
In action.
I got a 15-month-old. And that guy, he woke up at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was tired. But yet I still love him. There is no hormone that can describe that type of love. I'm not talking about touch or sex. I'm talking about that type of love.
Bro. That means that you didn't hear what I said before. Give me 1 second, Kate. That means you didn't hear what I said before. I'm saying that even when they just showed pictures of their loved ones, it released oxytocin. When they asked them to think about a loved one, their brain released oxytocin. That's what I'm trying to say. So yes, your brain, your 15-month-old, when you think about your 15-month-old, your brain releases oxytocin. When you hear your 15-month-old, your brain releases oxytocin. Just by thinking about him, your brain releases oxytocin. That's the love hormone. I understand that as humans, we take love to mean more than a chemical. I get that. I'm not taking that from you. We take love to be more than a chemical because it makes us do things. But it's objectively true that the feeling of love releases a hormone called oxytocin. That's what controls that feeling. As a matter of fact, scientists have even been able to suppress it.
Got you. So quick question, and then I'm done.
Sure.
So would you say that the oxytocin is the love itself or the consequences of the love?
That's a good question.
It is literal. No.
It is the love itself.
Oxytocin is what makes you feel love for another person. The bond.
Gotcha.
That is what oxytocin does.
You say it makes
it is demonstrable. It is
Gotcha.
demonstrable and demonstrable.
You said
you cannot get around that fact.
All right. Gotcha. All right. Thank you.
Hey, no, not a problem. Hey, come back tomorrow and then we'll talk more. Okay, I appreciate you.
All right, bet.
Not a problem. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to Hero. Hero, I do apologize. I know we went over time. I'm gonna give you a lot more time because of that, because we did go over time. I'll give you about 25 minutes. All right. Sure. For the first 10 minutes, you'll talk to me. In the last 15 minutes, you'll talk to Caddy and Kay. Okay. Caddy K, try not to jump him because he's the only Christian on the live right now. He's gonna talk to me for about 10 minutes, and then you'll talk to Caddy and Kay for the next 10 minutes. So for the 15 minutes afterwards. Sound fair?
Sure.
Hero?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yes. Very
all right,
fair.
cool. Just before you go. All right, guys.
Okay,
just before you go. All right, guys. If you're watching me over from the Black Atheist Coalition, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Keep the comments going. If you're watching from the Volsy Thoughts channel, I appreciate you there as well. Keep the comments going. Keep the likes going. I do appreciate you there. Y'all, please hit the likes over on the Volsy Thoughts. And if you're watching me over on the Deconstruction Junction, y'all still amazing. Again, if you want to talk to me, the link is right there to join. Tiny.cc/Volsy Live. Same thing if you're watching me over on Twitch and on Facebook. Tiny.cc/Volsy Live. You can talk to me there. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for subscribing to Volsi Thoughts. We're going to go ahead and speak to Hero. I'm going to give him 25 minutes because we did go over time with Nails. All right, Hero. Why do you think we should believe in a God?
Yeah. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to point out was the proof of a God.
Sure.
Now, if I were to ask you what exactly would be definitive proof for you that a God exists, you would, like from your previous answers, you were saying something like testable, repeatable, etc. But like, if I say, for example, that you were standing outside and you saw in the sky a hand come out and write, "I am God, worship me," in the sky, would you believe that God exists?
I definitely would, because that would
Like,
be
you
evidence.
personally saw it.
Right. That would be hold on, wait. That would be strong indication that a God exists, right? However, if I saw it in the sky, but my neighbor didn't, and they were outside at the same time, I will be a little bit more skeptical about what I saw. I definitely saw something, but is what I saw actually true? I would also look up to see if anybody else saw this in that area. And if nobody else saw this, I'm the only one that saw it.
Okay.
I did experience something, but what I'm attributing that experience to, is that true? I will be a lot more skeptical if I was the only one who saw it. Now, if everyone saw it, then that'll be a little bit more, okay, there's something there that exists. That makes sense, Hero?
Okay. So theoretically speaking, yeah, I get you. So if God really existed and he decided to write in the sky for you personally, because he wanted you, and he wrote in the sky that "I am God, worship me," or something like that, you would still be skeptical because the person beside you didn't see it?
Yes.
Is that like, that's where we're getting at, right?
Yeah, I'll be very, very skeptical if I'm the only one who's. Yeah, I'll be very, very skeptical because I could be seeing things. I could be delusional. I could be thirsty and hungry and be delirious. You know what I mean? So that happens all the time when people are thirsty, hungry, delirious, and sometimes you hear voices or see things that aren't there at all. That doesn't mean that you're going crazy. It just means that your brain is working. You know what I mean? Like just the other day, like this happened like a month ago. I heard my wife calling me in the other room, and I said, "Hey, baby, did you call me?" And she said, "No, I didn't call you at all." You know what I mean? So I was hearing things, but what I attributed to was just a mistake in my brain. It wasn't her. You see what I mean? Same thing if I saw "I am God, worship me" in the sky, but no one else did.
Okay. Yeah, I get you. So now, assuming it was you and 300 other people in the same sector, and then you all saw it in the sky saying, "I am God, worship me," would you then believe in a God undeniably, or would you still have room to question?
I will still question. Yeah, because me and 300 other people saw it, right? So we all definitely saw something.
But
There's something there.
millions didn't.
Yeah. So we all definitely saw something. Something was there, right? 300 people saw it. Now I will look to see if there's any other reports of this being the case, right? And if there are reports of it being the case, I live in the Central Florida area, right? And millions of people within the Central Florida area saw it, and not only Central Florida area, but over in Jacksonville, they also saw it. Then I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, there's something here.
Okay, so what I'm getting from you is that the evidence that's presented has to be something that is generally seen by everyone or repeatable in a certain sense. So if it's only you, then there's also room for error. That okay, I may be delusional and things. But then here's what I want to point out with God specifically. He doesn't show himself to every single human being in a certain way. But in this example I gave you right now, I just saw the comments. I'm not going to bring up the 500 witnesses thing. What I'm trying to say is that in this specific example, God is revealing himself. Yeah, God is revealing himself in the most clear way possible to you specifically, but yet you still wouldn't believe because someone else didn't see it. So if you were in a certain position where God felt that, okay, he could reveal himself to you, but others were not in that position. Because again, like with the concept of Christianity, mankind is in a sense separated from God. There's this veil in front of our eyes between us and God. Over time, we are able to break the veil in a certain degree, but we can never be one with God as Jesus was until like after death. And then the rest of it you probably already know. So I'm saying that like,
I'm having
there's a
issues with this.
veil, so not everyone can see. But
Right,
if
okay,
you
but
have passed that veil point, okay, you talk.
yeah, I'm having some issues with this, right? Because it's like if God is if Jesus is the savior of the world and God wants a relationship with all mankind, why not reveal himself to all mankind? Why do something vague as revealing himself to people one at a time in different ways? Just reveal yourself to everybody, and there's no doubt. Like there will be no reason to do that, right? Because yeah, at the end of the day, we could be deluded. So why would he do that? And not only that, if this is the most all-powerful, all-knowing God, he knows that too, or she knows that too, or it knows that too, whatever they are. So this God would know that would know that according to per our modern understanding of things, if we see something, we all know that we could be deluded because what we're seeing is may not be true. Schizophrenic people do exist. So why would why would it do it that way instead of revealing itself to everyone at the same time in their own language, and we all survive it? Why not just give everybody the road to Damascus experience?
Okay. So okay, I like this a lot. So now assume that he did it to every single person in the world. Every human being saw it in their own language or whatever. Would you then believe?
Yeah,
Or is there still any form of room of doubt?
No, there won't be much room of doubt, because then I'll be like, okay, there is something there. Definitely is something there, because why would we all have the same vision at the same time, and everyone survived it in their own language? All 8 billion of us. Why would that be the case? Yeah, I mean, it's demonstrable. Like, okay, there's definitely something there. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, because like there's no reason for all of us to have the same vision at the same time in our own language. No reason. You know what I'm saying? So even if we were to say that the reason is aliens, why did the aliens choose that specific one? You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely something there.
Yeah. Okay. So now, let me give you another hypothetical. If oh shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, but the universe, all the hypotheses you atheists have about the origins of the universe cannot be tested, proven, etc. But like we could see from observable data that they are in a sense plausible, although mathematically improbable, but still technically plausible. And then we end it with a whole I don't know thing. And it's fair because on the Christian side of things, the I don't know gap, we fill it with God. So to end on I don't know doesn't make you any less reasonable. It's just saying that maybe there was another cause outside of God, but we don't know what it is yet. And then we form all these hypotheses about like extending the universe infinitely back in time and things like that, Big Bang happening, like all these proposed hypotheses of the origins of the universe, they come about. But now,
land the plane, bro.
What is more probable? Okay. Yep. What is more probable? That the supposed hypotheses for the origins of the universe are true, any of them, or that the sky rather had a form of a glitch in which every single human being saw what we all saw then. Which is more probable?
You're mixing two different hypotheticals now. You're is because your hypothetical has never happened. That's not that's the thing. When it comes to the Big Bang, we can test it. We can hold on, wait. When it comes to the Big Bang, we can test it and everything like that, right? We have lines of evidence for it. But you're simply saying is what is more probable, the Big Bang or your hypothetical that you just came up with a few minutes ago? These are not the same thing. I'm not sure what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't say, the hypothetical is more likely because it's a hypothetical. It's never happened. So like, what are you saying that what's more likely?
No. So,
are you asking, hold on, are you asking what's more likely, either the Big Bang or whether what the Bible says is true? Is that what you're trying to ask?
No, I'm just trying to ask simply that, like, which one would be more probable? Like, look at the statistics of it. that any of the supposed hypotheses about the true origins of the universe are true. Like looking at the statistical data for them and seeing like the reality of the hypotheses, almost all of them are basically impossible to be true, but are still hypotheses because again,
that's untrue, Hero. That's
we
untrue.
don't know anything, right?
Hero,
So they can't be tested.
Hero, that's untrue.
No,
we have
the Big Bang is not an explanation for the origins of the universe.
Yes, it is. It is an explanation for the origins of the universe, and it can be tested. What you're saying is untrue. Have you ever heard of the cosmic microwave background radiation?
But
wait, hold on. Have you ever heard?
No.
Wait. Are we on a lag? Because it seems like you're talking at the same time. All right. So the cosmic microwave background radiation is basically a test that we use to see if the universe has any residue left over from the expansion of the universe, and that's exactly what we see. So when if the Big Bang is true, then we should be able to see its effects, right? We should be able to see radiation, the radiation from that Big Bang through the universe, and that's exactly what we see. That's how we're able to prove it, right? Not only that, galaxies are all expanding. Hold on. Not only that, but galaxies are expanding all across each other, right? They're all expanding. If they're all expanding, then that means at a certain point, if you're around the clock, they were all more closer together. And that means that everything was hotter and denser because everything was more closer together, right? So if that's the case, if we can show all of this, then that means that we can test and we can prove it. If the Big Bang is true, what we expect to see? We would expect to see galaxies moving away from each other. We see that. If the Big Bang is true, we would expect to see residue, radiation after the expansion. That's exactly what we see. You know what I mean? So these things prove it. So when you say that we can't test it or prove it, we have tested it and we have proven it. What you're saying is just not true.
But no, you see, again, we're mixing two things. The Big Bang, right, is not answering where all the matter came from in the first place, any of that. It's just saying
Hero,
that
you
the
believe
universe
that,
that we have currently.
that humanity started from dirt.
Yes, I do.
You believe that humanity started from dirt?
So the fact of the matter is, you don't get to talk to me
like,
about plausibility, and you think that human beings came from dirt.
So you don't believe we came from dirt in any sense, because technically, following the atheistic
Not that I
perspective,
just
we
don't
didn't
believe
come
it.
from.
There's no evidence for that, nor is there evidence that a woman came from a man's rib. That is
So
also.
hold on. So why does my
There's no
physics
reasonable
teacher say
explanation that
we were
life
all
can
born
come
in
from non-life. Listen, there's no reasonable explanation that life will come from non-life.
Science has proven that. Science has proven that to be a lie. Hero, why do you have nipples?
Sure, bro.
Why do you have nipples?
No, that's an actual question, Hero. Why do males have nipples?
I don't know.
Males have nipples because we all start off as female. So that would mean that if we
so
came
the
from
idea that men came first and a woman came from a man is biologically incorrect.
Incorrect. Because if that were true, hold on, wait, Hero, hold on.
The Y chromosome is a broken X.
Yeah. So Hero, listen to what we're saying, right? Every single zygote, when the sperm meets the egg, every single zygote starts off as female. It then develops into male because of a mutation. If what the Bible says is true, that females came from males, we would see the opposite be true. But the opposite is not true.
No.
We all start off. Hold on, Hero.
Sure.
Listen to what we're saying.
The Bible says. I'm thinking just the cotton dissonance.
Yeah, it is. So, Hero, listen. The Bible says that Adam was created first, and that God created female through Adam's rib. If that were the case, if that were the case, we would expect to see in biology that all zygotes start off as XY. We don't see that. All zygotes
see that. In fact, they'll start off as XX, and not only that, but the Y chromosome is a mutation of the X chromosome. There is nowhere in biology that you could point to that females come from males. There is nowhere. All males come from females, not the other way around.
Yeah, so that would show that what the Bible says about Adam being first, the male being first, and then the female is simply untrue. Because according to biology,
it has been proven biologically incorrect.
That is not, bro. That is not a fair argument. Because we
It
didn't
absolutely
say
is.
that God,
It is.
bro.
It is.
God took
I'm
a
like, if
rib
your
from
cognitiveness that's
Adam
not
and
allowing
formed
you
the
to
woman.
accept that.
What does that have to do with any of these zygotes
And
and
it has
things like
everything
that?
to do with
It's
it. The idea
literally
that you
just
believe that a man came before a woman is a misogynistic lie by patriarchal men in the Bible. I'm like to feel superior, not only feel superior to women, but actually take away from the fact that women are natural creators. Men do not create. Men do not.
so virtually women
Men do.
evolve first.
You have to.
Right. So
I'm like,
the
yes.
reason why it's a fair criticism, Hero, is because if the Bible were true, you would expect you expect the development of like human zygotes and fetuses to all start off as male first. If what the Bible says is true, but we don't see that. So that means that contradicts what the Bible is saying about the male coming first. Because the Bible literally says that the male came first. If the male came first,
what you're saying, what she's saying is not true, though.
Hold on, stop.
Yeah, created.
What we're saying, hero. What we're saying is that if the Bible says that the male was created first, so the male came first according to the Bible. The problem with that is that all pregnancies start off as female. Why would that be?
Quiet, but you're not gonna prove that a Y chromosome is not a broken X. You're not gonna prove that. So after this, I'm going to make
you know it's.
I will argue
end up
into the
running in
ground.
circles because your interpretation of the Bible is different from ours. So let me go back to my original argument. The first thing I was trying to say was that the probability that the universe came from the supposed hypothesis. Now, the Big Bang explains that, okay, fine, the universe is spreading out in a certain way and it all came from an explosion. But it does not explain where the original matter came from. None of that is explained within the Big Bang. But there are hypotheses to fit that into the Big Bang, and I'm saying, and are also very much so just straight up thesis.
Statistics won't be able to. Right, hold on. So hero. Number one, statistics wouldn't be used in this case. It'll be physics and chemistry that be used. But number two, when you say that that the Big Bang doesn't explain where all the matter came from, I don't think that's true. But I won't be able to explain that in detail. You have to talk to an astrophysicist. But as far as what I know, that's not true. They can explain where all of that came from. It's just that I'm not an astrophysicist, so I'm not going to be able to.
The original matter.
Hold on, hero, hold on. I'm not going to be able to explain that in full to you because I'm not an astrophysicist. But I do know what you're saying is not exactly true. They can't explain that. I just don't have the expertise to do so. You should talk to an astrophysicist because you just can't claim that they can't explain that, and they actually could. The most I can do right now is just Google it, but it's not going to be a good explanation. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying is not true, though. They can't explain it.
I get your point, though. Whoa, no. There are hypotheses for why it came. There is no definite explanation. And they listen.
Okay, let's go ahead and Google it.
Well that, yes,
let's go ahead and Google it. Wait, hold on, hero. Let's go ahead and Google it.
But
what was your actual question? Okay. If they can explain where all the matter of the universe came from?
Yeah, I said that if there's a definite explanation for where all the original matter came from.
When you say original matter, what do you mean?
Give hypotheses, right? Like the Big Bang, it came from an original thing. That specific thing, where did that come from?
Hold on.
The hypothesis.
Hero. Slow down. Because I'm really not understanding what you're asking. What exactly are you trying to ask about matter, the Big Bang? These are different things. What are you trying to ask?
Okay, let's just search it this way. The matter we have currently, where did it all come from? Just search that.
It came out of the Big Bang.
So the Big Bang created the matter, or
it
spread out the matter? What was it? Which one is it?
It spread it out. or it was actually created. It was actually created from it. Yeah, quarks and leptons, elementary particles. As far as what we see, they were came from the Big Bang.
The Big Bang created the matter.
Yeah, quarks and leptons. Hold on. Elementary particles.
You could search, bro.
Elementary particles came out of the Big Bang. Now, if you're gonna ask how or why that happened, now you gotta talk to particle physics. I don't know, but yes, elementary particles came out of the Big Bang. Everything is made out of leptons, quarks, electrons. All that came out of the Big Bang.
And you think that is actually verifiably proven? Because I actually just want you to realize something.
You gotta talk to an astrophysicist. I don't know. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We're not astrophysicists. We're not particle physicists. We're not chemical physicists. We're not any of these things, right? So, yeah, sure. As far as what I've seen, yeah, that's where it came from, right? But for you to simply say that, oh, that's not true, I don't believe that, fine. But you got to talk to one of those people. I'm not one of those people. I'm not gonna be able to explain it to you. We're not gonna resolve it on a live, right? So, like, as far as what you found, have you ever found that elementary particles did not come out of the Big Bang? Is that what you found?
No. So what I was searching for genuinely was like an explanation for how. Because like when I watch videos, they all say something came from nothing kind of thing, and I was like, I don't think that's the real belief. So I wanted to search. And
yeah, it's not the real.
I found out that like there are multiple hypotheses for the exactly. Yeah, that's not a real belief. So I found out there are multiple hypotheses for where all the matter came from, not just this whole something blue from nothing kind of thing. But I'm saying that none of those hypotheses have been said to be true. They are just saying are probable.
Which hypotheses are you talking about?
What are the probabilities for these hypotheses?
Which hypotheses are you talking about? Because the Big Bang is pretty much settled. We know it happened.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about like the spreading of the matter. I'm saying the origination of it. The Big Bang is fine, yeah.
The origination of the matter is from the Big Bang. But are you trying to, if you're asking how did the Big Bang, how did leptons and electrons actually form? I don't know. I'm not even sure if anyone knows that. That's a mystery. But just because that's a mystery doesn't mean that all of a sudden God is the reason.
I mean, okay, I get your point though. And I think as long as you're not an astrophysicist, I could never give my direct points because then you couldn't talk about statistical probabilities and all that. So my original point was that the likelihood of these said hypotheses to be true is far less likely. I mean, yeah, it's far less likely than the okay, I'm getting confused. So my original thing was with the whole hypothetical that God revealed himself to the whole universe. And I'm saying that's the probability of that being a fake experience is higher than the probability of the universe coming from any of the supposed hypotheses. But yet we still believe in those supposed hypotheses, right? So I'm saying that
it's not though. That's what I'm saying.
God did this thing.
What I'm saying
he revealed himself to the whole world.
What I'm saying, Cairo, is that it's not the all the other hypotheses that we're talking about, especially with the Big Bang. They have proof behind them. They have papers. They have research. This hypothetical that you're talking about has never happened, but everything else, all the other hypotheses, they do have research behind them. Like it has evidence behind it, has research behind it.
But I get your point. But
so
I don't think
when you say the probability is lower,
but it's fine. It's fine.
When you say the probability is lower that the other ones are true,
yeah,
that's not exactly true either, because like the other hypotheses actually has research and evidence behind it. All right, Hero. We do have Yard Billionaire that wants to talk next. We have someone that wants to talk next, so we're gonna go ahead and move on for now. But I do appreciate you.
Yes,
all right.
I'm gonna get so I want to get because I'm gonna get into this, right? First of all, I did pass biology class, right? And what you're referring to is genetic sex. Genetic sex is immediate at conception. However, it does not mean that phenotypic sex, how your body physically expresses itself is you do not know what.
Ooh, you're kind of blanking out there. Yeah. You're kind of blanking out there, okay. All right, let's do this first. Yard, are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about number 1 or number 2?
Yeah, bro. I'm 39, bro. Married with kids, bro.
Great. Number 1 or number 2?
Oh, I was going to address both, but
okay,
number
cool.
1.
Let's start with number 1. Yeah, why should I be a conservative?
Yeah. So boom, right? I came to America as a little kid at 3 years old in 1988, and I seen right.
Yeah,
the whole hood disappeared.
Yeah.
Right?
Hold on. Right. Hold on.
I'm telling you.
Oh, wait, I got you. I just need you to give me the reasons. I don't care about the life story. I don't want to be rude.
I'm trying to say the reason.
I got you. Hold on. I don't need a narrative. Just say point number 1, point number 2. These are the reasons. Go ahead.
Conservatives gentrified the hood.
Okay. Give me a second. All right. So
the
number 1,
prices on prisons.
All right. So number 1, conservatives gentrified the hood. Yeah. What's number 2?
Whole neighborhood disappeared.
The hood. Okay. And what's number 2?
Because mathematics already proves that.
Mathematics. No, wait. Hold on. I'm talking about number 1, the reason to be, why should I be a conservative? So your number 1 reason your reasons to be a conservative, number 1, conservative gentrified the hood. What's the next reason to be a conservative? Did you hear me?
I don't think there should be a number 2 reason.
Okay,
if you
let's go by conservative gentrify the hood. All right, so when it comes to conservative gentrifying the hood,
was actually very harmful to the black community.
Yeah, like what happens to all them black people?
Y'all, stop. Y'all, come on, man. Let's actually try to have a conversation. Let's keep it in line. All right, so you said that conservatives gentrified the hood. Gentrification was harmful towards black people because it caused displacement and it caused actually even more poverty because they had to move to even worse areas, and a lot of times it even caused homelessness. So when you said that we should be conservative because they gentrified the hood, that did not that investment did not go to those black people. So if you ask me why, if you said that I should be conservative because of gentrification was a bad thing. So I'm not sure why
it was not a positive. And I find it crazy that you, as a Jamaican, are speaking on gentrification. Okay.
Yeah, because isn't Jamaica Queens getting gentrified right now?
I'm like, it's not only is it currently getting gentrified, but I'm like, but here is the thing, right? Where I'm like, when black immigrants come to America, you are coming into our neighborhoods. Right, there is. Like the context of that America is like the gentrification, the redlining, and all of those things. That that directly impact. That is directly because this country was founded on Black Americans' oppression, not Jamaicans.
Yeah. So when you say that we should be conservative because of gentrification, that's kind of crazy, Yard. Why would us as Caribbean people coming into this country and facing the same oppression that African Americans face, like, is happening to us now, and we're gonna go ahead and agree with that? That sounds kind of crazy.
But that's the thing that
you're not giving me a chance to respond.
I'm trying to give you a chance to respond.
You're saying something. It's like two people attacking.
I got you.
I'm not attacking you. No one's attacking you.
Okay, I got you, Yard. Talk to me first, okay? Because the reason you gave for me to be a conservative is because conservatives gentrified the hood. The problem that I have with that is that gentrification harmed black people. Now, you're a Jamaican, you're a black person like me. Why would we support something that harmed our people? Why would we do that?
Because it's their way of going about things that cause them to now have the same places, right? Of land that I don't understand. God not making no more. I don't understand. Why would you cut me off if I'm trying to respond?
Yeah, because you're trying to respond, but your response didn't make any sense. Like the first 2 sentences was word salad. You said that's their way of doing things.
What do you mean it's word salad? Am I not being articulate here?
No, you're not. You simply said that that's their way of doing things. Yeah, I know that's harmful. Why would I support
Okay,
harm?
so how else do you want me to say it? A bunch of Jewish people moved into a bunch of neighborhoods where black people used to live, and who didn't go to jail, got unalived, or got deported, right? Whole neighborhoods disappeared.
Right.
And then you got a bunch of jails with stock prices on them, right? You can
course.
literally bet against them people's
Yard,
children in those neighborhoods.
calm down. These are all bad things. So why would I be conservative?
So I would not listen to the shit the Jewish people listen to and go read the Old Testament.
What the fuck? Yard, are you okay, bro? Are you understanding what my question is? Yard, calm down. I need you to calm down. My question is
Are you sober, Yard?
Yeah, I don't know. But Yard, listen. Bring it down a notch. Calm down, bro. Listen to what I'm asking you, okay? Everything that you're saying are consequences of gentrification. We all understand that. However, what I'm saying is that all these things were harmful to black people. And I'm asking you, why should I support that? Why should I support black people going to jail?
Because of liberal behavior.
Yard. Listen to my question. Why should I support black people going to jail? Black people becoming homeless? Black people losing their opportunities? That's all what gentrification causes. Why should I support that? That's what I'm asking you.
Because if you behave in a reckless, carefree way, like a liberal in the hood, right, and don't give a F about nothing but the first and the 15th, right? This is what's going to happen, right? You're going to self-destruct based on that behavior. And other people that are more, structured and following a whole way of life usually come take your spot. That's why Mandela is mayor right now.
My bad.
Yeah,
you live to see a brown person be mayor in New York City.
Yeah, there were black people who are also mayors in New York
You know this.
So,
I want to call this out, right? You are a Jamaican. And Vos, I'm gonna have to do it. You are a Jamaican. Speaking on liberalism. Right, and liberal, and reckless behavior. What you're basically saying is that you believe that black people in the hood are criminals, which is innately white supremacist and racist rhetoric. And see, this is the thing I'm going to call out, right? And this is the thing that I noticed. I noticed that black people that come from other countries and come here, they align with white supremacist ideologies against black people. Not even knowing or not even caring to know that the rhetoric that you are espousing actually harms the Black American community. What you're saying is literally repackaged racism. It is not true that quote unquote liberals in the hood have this carefree, reckless mentality. That is white supremacist. That is white supremacist nonsense.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, Yard. But everything that
you're
saying,
you saying anything, right?
Yard,
I grew up in Freaknik era. I grew up going to Freaknik. I don't know what
I need you to stop. I need you to stop. You gotta calm down, bro.
Right.
Please calm down and let's speak. All right. So Yard. Once again, number one, Garvey is rolling in his grave for you to talk about this against black people. Yeah, I mean, Garvey's rolling in his grave.
I've been here since I was 3. How am I Jamaican? That makes sense.
But you're not a black American.
I'm American just like you is, bro.
No, you're not a black American.
Hold on. Yard, listen, bro. I need you to calm down and actually have the conversation. Because you're just yelling out things, bro.
Your lineage is not from here.
Yeah, you're just yelling things out.
There's a context that you're missing.
Yeah, you're just yelling things out.
And the reason that Volsi gets it as a Haitian man is because that not only did he take time to educate himself, but he went to an HBCU where he was educated on African American history. Which I don't care how long you've been here. Your lineage is from the country of Jamaica. You have a Jamaican flag. Your name is literally Yardy. You are not going to come here in my presence as a Black American woman and spew racist white supremacist not rhetoric about Black people in America.
Nah, you just don't want to call a spade a spade. Right? Because everybody in the hood don't behave the same way. So we could call out the people that's doing nonsense.
So you saying that free mentality.
So I got these little cousins, right? That think that gangbang.
Y'all, stop. I'm tired of us yelling. I'm back and forth. Yard, you already debunked yourself because you said that that people acting in a reckless behavior is what caused gentrification. However, you also just admitted that not everybody in the hood acts the same way. all of us know that there are.
it
Hold
wasn't
on, stop.
behavior, it was racism.
We all know that there are criminals in the hood. We all know that, right? But what causes poverty is lack of opportunities. What causes crime is poverty, lack of opportunities, proximity. Niggas ain't just doing this shit for the hell of it, bro. All right, at least for the most part. They're not doing it for the hell of it. All right. Now, of course, you get white kids from the suburbs who shoplift because they just doing it for the hell of it. They're having fun with it.
Yeah,
right?
nah,
They're young
nigga,
and
that's
stupid.
cap, right?
Hold on. I'm not done yet. I wasn't fucking done yet.
You ain't doing no
I
time.
wasn't done yet because I'm from the hood, just like how you are. I grew up in Little Haiti,
You ain't
bro.
doing no time though.
So
You at the college,
hold on. I'm not done yet, y'all. I'm gonna drop you, bro.
Nah, nigga, you a square though, yo. You just talking, nigga.
Shut the fuck up. So we all know.
I'm dropping him.
Yeah, this is stupid.
Yeah, but I'm dropping it. I'm like, because here is the thing, and this is why and both see, I want you to know, this is why Black Americans be getting in Caribbean and Africans' asses. That rhetoric, right, is exactly what I'm like, what gets Caribbeans and Africans cussed the fuck out.
Crazy, insane. I really don't get it. CMOS, I think you're gonna be my last guest. CMOS, how's it going? CMOS, are you at least 18? And did you want to talk about number 1 or number 2?
Yes, I'm over 18.
Correct. Number 1 or number 2?
We could talk about number 1.
All right, cool. Why do you think I should be a conservative? As far as I see, their policies are only damaging, especially to my community. Why do you think I should be a conservative?
Actually, no, let's talk about number 2.
Okay, cool. Number 2, why do you think I should believe in a God? I don't see any good evidence to believe in one, especially the Abrahamic religions. And I don't need to believe in one in order to be a good and moral person. So why do you think I should be one? Let's ask this clarification question as well. Are you part of any of the religious orders, or you just believe in a generic God?
I'm a Christian, but I have a reform view of Christianity. But I think we should, as a society, and I think it's possible to update our view of God, or what God could be, because I think belief is interesting and complicated. I don't think you need a mystical God to still believe in things that have no evidence. I think race is one thing. There are so many things that have the same kind of structure and have the same end result, but that aren't explicitly stupid, or fantasy, right? So I don't believe in God in the stupid sense, but I believe in what some philosophers like Paul Tillich would call the ground of being, where God is not a being, but God, if there is a God, is the ground, or the source from which being arises.
Spinoza's God?
There are many. That idea is yes. Spinoza, Tillich, even some Nietzsche.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I get all this, right? Because basically this kind of reaches into pantheism. But I would say the God that you believe in, does it have any will or agency?
Well, I wouldn't say it's pantheistic, but no, I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't claim that there is any evidence
will or agency. Okay, cool. I got you.
Or interventionist God.
I got you. So no will or agency or intervention in the universe. But can you differentiate it from anything? Can it be differentiated from anything else from in the universe? Like this is God and this is the universe. Can it be differentiated in that way?
I think probably theoretically. I don't know about experiments that can be conducted. I think when you think of not game theory, simulation theory, it can be very reasonable for it can be a rational theoretical conclusion that there is at least some originating force that if it doesn't intervene now, maybe it started, or maybe it is the designer or the creator but maybe it's hands off or something.
Okay, so it does have will and agency.
In terms of simulation theory, if you can presuppose that to be true, not presuppose, but if you're persuaded by that, then yeah.
Well, I'm asking you more about the God that you believe in. Well, what is
I
it?
don't believe in it.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on. I'm like, I want to get into this real quick. Just give me a second. Yeah, I'm like, I'm tired. I'm gonna nip this in the butt real quick. Calling out anti-blackness from the diaspora. It's not fucking xenophobic. The idea that black people, and not even just black people, but POCs also come here from different nations and align with white supremacy is a fucking fact. And I'm tired of y'all trying to bully black Americans into submission when we call that out.
Yeah, so
I did not say anything xenophobic, and I'm tired of y'all trying to bully African Americans with that word when we call out bullshit.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to I'm gonna get back to you really quickly, CMOS. Just give me a second. All right,
Yeah.
so Muslim or I should say ex-Muslim. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, X-Files. So X-Files. Here's the issue, right? This was a Jamaican man who said he came over here at 3 and he spilled some of the most anti-black shit on the stage, saying that they're being stupid, committing crime and stuff like that. A lot of people from our region, from the Caribbean, from Africa, they come over here and they do that. Yeah, I mean, now that doesn't mean that every single one of them do that, right? But we do know that that's a thing that does happen. Now, of course, there's someone like me that grew up around black people, that grew up in the United States, and we understand that these conservative talking points are not true. Crime is a lot more complicated than that. So it's not just people acting stupid, and therefore the police get on us and we get gentrified out of our neighborhoods. Making it as simple as black people just can't act right is a white supremacist talking point. And not only that, it gets pushed onto black Americans a lot. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. So
100%.
Yeah, because I'm tired of that rhetoric. Like every time we call out the fact that black people that are not black American align with, we're not going to play this game. Like y'all do not know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
May I retort?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm with you 100%. I fully am with the cause of the Black American people 110%. But I just don't understand why it has to be made out that like you're both kind of making it sound like those of us who align ourselves with Black Americans that as if we're some sort of the exception to the rule, when in fact people.
But you are though, and see that's the conversation that y'all don't want to have. And being honest, a lot of black people, and not just black people from other countries. I'm like, no, I'm going to call this out. Already come to this country with white supremacist notions of African Americans. Y'all come to this country already with the white supremacist propaganda that African Americans are lazy, uneducated, that we're welfare queens, etc. There are literally first gens on this app who have literally talked about how their parents had a prejudice towards Black Americans.
Yeah, I mean that's something that we can't deny. That is a thing that happens. Has it decreased over time, or does it decrease with the first generation? Yeah, it decreases with the first generation. I'm first gen, right? So it that type of bias didn't really exist with me because I grew up with these people, right? They're my friends and my neighbors, they're my coworkers. So this entire rhetoric that came from the previous generation, like it didn't exist with me.
I'm right? Nothing I said was ignorant. What would be ignorant is me saying that Volsi is in the same. Volsi is in the same group as those ignorant people. I've given Volsi props several times that he is educated and has stood with the Black American plight and the Black American people. I've always given Volsi credit for that. Right. The only thing I'm gonna push back with the first gen point. There was literally a Haitian woman just during Black History Month that went viral for calling Black Americans dirty. Black Americans.
Yeah.
We're not going to play this game. I'm tired of black people come from other when black Americans call this shit out, they want to pull that xenophobia card out. No, bitch. Some of y'all are problematic. Asians are problematic and anti-black as fuck. Is it xenophobic to call that out?
No, there's like I said, there's a lot of problematic behaviors that exist. We got to go ahead and address it. Yeah, I mean, like I don't think it's bad to address it. Now, of course, here's the thing. I don't think we should take it personally when people say that, hey, a lot of people from the first gen have this attitude towards Black Americans. Yeah, that shit is true. Now, can you say that there are Black Americans that have that shit against themselves? Yeah, of course. Look at Branham Tatum. Yeah, I mean, look at C.J. Peterson. Look at the Cartier family. Yeah, of course, there are Black Americans who have white supremacist ideology. No one denies that shit. But does it exist?
But I think it's a lot because Black immigrants do not exist in this country in the same way that Black Americans do. I think it's easier to seep in than it is with Black American people.
Yeah, that's a conversation to have too. You know what I mean? Like, so
it's much easier because y'all don't exist in this country in the same context as Black Americans. Black Americans exist in this country due to the history of the transatlantic slave trade, and colonization and all of those things. Black immigrants exist in this country because of that. Immigration, there was an autonomous choice to be made to move from your country of origin to the United States. That is not the context that Black Americans live in. So you're coming to this context to come to achieve the quote American dream, not realizing and not understanding the racial politics of this country because you do not exist here in the same way. It is much easier, which is also why, and no shade, I'm gonna call this out too. I noticed that a lot of white people, and white supremacists love to use this topic. Well, Black immigrants come here to this country and make a way for themselves. And why can't Black Americans do this? And guess what? I see Black immigrants also align with that rhetoric and try to weaponize it against Black American people. That is a prime example of how white supremacy seeps into the mind of Black immigrants. That is not xenophobic to say. It is a true observable sociological thing that happens.
And you know what's the gag about that? It's not true. That's the thing. They always say that
we know it's not true.
Yeah, they always say that Black immigrants come here and find a way and be successful. That's just not true. We go through the same racism. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I always point this out. Be like, y'all always say that we come here and we become successful, but do we have the same type of poverty rate, the education rate, the rate of incarceration, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah. So when they say they come here and we're more successful than the Black Americans, it's not true. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things like we have to look at these things. And
I know it's not true, and you know it's not true. But the point of the matter is, the white supremacist propaganda is much easier to seep into people whose lineage is not from here, whose ethnicity was not formed here. It is much easier to seep in because because the thing is, Black Americans exist in this country again based on a different context. So the conversations that are happening in Black American households from talking about race and and history and all those things. I don't think y'all are having those same conversations in y'all households because y'all do not exist in this country in the same way. You come from majority Black countries, many of you, right? Where race is not an issue until you come to the United States or the UK. Your issue is colonization, it's colorism, it is classism. It is not racially based. Black Americans exist in a country that was built and literally off of the enslavement of our bodies. It is not the same context.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I would say. I would give the context to the immigration side, right? Because the reason why we immigrate is literally because of white supremacy. Like the reason why Haiti is the way it is because United States invaded, which is why I think that that when a lot of Haitians understand it a little bit more because of that history. because of that invasion, because we saw the racism from U.S. Marines, because we see the racism of the IMF, especially what they did with Jamaica, especially since we see the racism of France making us pay for recognition. Because of that, it becomes a little bit more understandable. But does that mean that we still come over here with a certain bias that was promoted to us? Yeah, a lot of us still come over here with a certain bias that was promoted to us, even though like when we get here, it's more easier to understand because we've been through some of that shit in our history, in our recent history.
But the point of the matter is, and I've heard people say this, many Black people that come from majority Black nations, race is not the issue mainly that they deal with. They deal with poverty, class, they deal with colorism, they deal with they deal with colonization because of white supremacy and all those things. So how white supremacy operates and how it translates to majority Black countries in the Caribbean and the African continent is not the same context that Black Americans live in. It is a very different context. Black Americans outside of Brazilians, I think there are very few Black people that can say that they have lived amongst their oppressors for all of this time. It is not the same context. Black Americans are a minority where you are the majority of where you come from.
Yeah.
We have lived amongst our oppressors. It is not the same context.
Yeah. We don't live amongst our oppressors, right? I would say that we don't live amongst our oppressors. But one thing that we do see that I've seen, especially in Haiti, we know how the oppressor affects our politics, especially when it comes to governance, because our government always capitulates to whatever the United States wants. So we see the effects, we just don't live amongst them. So it's not proximate. You see what I'm saying?
I'm like, yes, but the fact it's not proximate.
That creates bias.
Not only does it create the bias, but it also it also creates a different context because you are not dealing with racism and anti-Blackness directly in the way that Black Americans are.
Yeah, it's
like it is. It's a very. I have heard Caribbeans and Africans tell me to my face that they found out that they were racially Black is when they came to the United States and the UK. And there is a reason for that because anti-Blackness and racism and white supremacy do not operate the same way when you're coming from majority Black countries. The issue that y'all are dealing with is colonization.
Colonization.
Which is racism, but it doesn't operate the same way.
And you know what's crazy about that? When I hear Haitians say that, I always hear that we use white as an idiom for stranger. We use white as an idiom for foreigner. We even use white as an idiom for a stupid person. So it's like it's baked into our language that Blackness is good and whiteness is something different. But y'all gonna come here and say that you ain't Black? That's crazy. It's baked into our language. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy to me when I hear Haitians say that.
But it's crazy, but it also but logically, if you're coming from a country where everyone looks like you, and you are not the minority, which is crazy because I was just on a panel last night. Diaspora. I forget her name. Her name is like Diaspora something. And we were talking about this. Like she is like we were like, listen, like y'all do not exist in the same context. And I think that and here's another point that I brought up, right? And I think that this is a conversation that the diaspora does not want to have. I think that the diaspora also has a prejudice towards Black Americans because there is one thing that that also separates the Black American experience from other Black people. And this is to my knowledge and based on what I know, we are the only racially Black group in the entire planet that comes from a first world nation. So I feel like that. I feel like because of that fact, they minimize the oppression that we go through, and they feel like we have it easier.
Yeah, and that's the thing because that's based on the fact on what America projects to the world, right? America projects to the world that is this first world nation of the golden standard on the hill, basically the conservative propaganda. That's what it projects to the world. So when people
I'm like,
see
but
black people,
but it also raises like what black. I literally met a Jamaican man. He literally said he thought that Black Americans in America were literally making up how anti-Black America was until George Floyd.
Exactly. So it's like because we don't we don't, because people around the world don't see it. It's when they get here that they're surprised, like, oh, it really is different over here. That's because it just doesn't the way that America projects to the world, that it's the land of opportunity, and black people here
and
just never
freedom and all of these
freedom,
things.
all that, exactly.
And black people do not exist in this country in the same way.
Yeah, exactly. They promoted it as freedom and opportunity, but the black people who live here just never took advantage of it. That's what
like the native, the native black population whose lineage is from here, who has been here, who ethnically is from here, whose ancestors have been here since the 15, 16, 1700s, right? Us, right? I want to bring up the context. Like, imagine like this in 1920, like a white person whose nana came from Italy had more rights and autonomy in 1920 than Black Americans did, whose ancestors had been here for centuries.
Yeah, exactly. So when I see a person from the Caribbean spilling anti-black shit, I'm always like, yo, bro, Garvey is rolling over in his grave, because Garvey been you from back then the way that shit was, and he told us that. You know what I'm saying? He told us how it was in America. He told us. So it's kind of crazy how you can all like admire Garvey and everything that he did for black people in America and the Caribbean, and then turn around and be anti-black. This is not what he was about. He was all about us combining efforts.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
But it's crazy. But that's also like why like I said, where I get really pissed off and tired, like when Black Americans try to have these conversations with our cousins from like we are immediately dismissed as xenophobic and that we just hate immigrants, and that's not true. Black Americans are actually extremely welcoming people. The idea that if you do a two-step in the right way, that Black Americans are going to invite you to cookout, as problematic as that is. Right, but but we are extremely welcoming. We are too welcoming. In fact,
Yeah.
The fact that you're able to even exist in this country is because Black Americans fought for that to happen with our civil rights bills.
You know what's funny about what you say? You know, Haitians say the same thing, that we're too welcoming, we're too friendly. If someone dances compa in the correct way, we're gonna welcome them into the Haitian diaspora. Like we said the exact same thing. It's like it's crazy. We're all using the same language, and we need to have better conversations to understand each other. Like, I really don't get how you could come over here
and we are too that's the thing that kills me. Like, we patronize all type of immigrants. We patronize non-Black immigrants. We patronize literally the fact that you're able to open up businesses here is because a lot of times Black Americans are patronizing those businesses. They're patronizing the Jamaican restaurants. They're patronizing the Chinese businesses, the hair stores, the restaurants. We're patronizing the Mexican restaurants, right? The idea that Black Americans are xenophobic is such it's such a dismissal and tries to minimize the conversation.
I think what's been going on with this conversation happening, right? We're talking about these intersections and the tensions and how we exist in these different contexts. What happens is that bad actors become the loudest voices. Because like you ran into one of them that was here a couple of weeks ago, who called me the enemy, even though I was saying that Black Americans deserve reparations. Those type of people.
I was like, no, and I disagree, because no, like he's actually one of the very few people that advocate and stand with Black Americans. Now, I do agree that there are many immigrants that come here, and a lot of them get into politics to try to undermine Black. Brian Donald, yes, I'm gonna call it by name, bitch. Okay, and that's a lot of different things who will try to undermine things like reparations because they know that they would not qualify because it's ethnicity based, right? It's lineage based reparations, right? And I'm like, and because they would not qualify, they fight against it.
Right.
And that is a whole, I'm like, and so that's a whole, but you are not one of those people. So I'm like, I was like, yes, I'm like, yes, it could be a conversation that many Black people from and I call it out all the time, are extremely anti-Black. I don't think it's fair when you to put that on you. Like, I said that to him. He is not one of those people. Like, I'm like, please, like, do not say that to him. Like, he's not one of those people.
Yeah, is like in the thing that that I always point out, which because we on this side, right? We need to have that conversation. There's a lot of us, like there are Black immigrants who get into politics that become Republican, that become conservative. Now, I think their positions on Black people is more about them being conservative, right? Because when you ask a person who's not a conservative, like myself, who's more of a leftist, we typically don't have those type of views. It's typically the conservatives who have those, is very much aligned
see
to
the comments, the offspring hooked on instead of the phonics, so immigrants took over. And see, I'm like, but see what I point out, right? That I'm like, that you had to come to America and you couldn't take over your own countries. Like, you're Jamaican saying that. Meanwhile, your fucking beaches, bitch, are being run by Asians. But when I call that out, bitch, when I call out the fact that y'all are known globally as being fucking skin bleachers, now I'm the fucking problem. Now I'm xenophobic, bitch.
Yeah, is exactly. Y'all can't diss a group of people and expect them not to diss you back. That's kind of crazy, right? And the thing is, one thing that we need to understand is that all these immigrant Black people who speak against reparations, they're usually Republicans or some sort of conservative. But one thing that we need to have a conversation about is that why is conservatism so attractive to our cultural groups, to our group of people? And it's usually because of anti LGBT stuff, right? That's why that's why it's so attractive to them to be conservative. Now, of course, we can say that anti-LGBTQ issues is prominent amongst Black Americans too. You can say that,
it is, but I think that the difference is that Black Americans are more fiscally conservative than they are politically, like
politically conservative. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, because Black Americans already know in this country that it was conservatives that always took away their rights. Now, because there's, like how you were saying, K, before, because we exist in different contexts and that racial politics wasn't there when we grew up in our countries and then came over, those racial politics weren't there. We didn't understand conservatism being more aligned with racial politics than it was class politics. Now, because of those class politics, that's how a lot of those people come over, think it's all about class and not about race, until they learn better, like how Candace Owens is learning now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those just one of those things. Yeah,
and but that is the concept. But that's a context because the context is not the same. Black Americans, even those who have some like extreme conservative views, will vote democratically because there's an understanding that that the racial politics of this country, right? That that is against your interests to vote for, like, for example, MAGA. It would be against Black interests to do that. Which is why when you see Black American women in particular, we stood that hold this shit down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Oh man,
we understand. There's an understand, and when we try to educate people from the diaspora, there are people even outside the United States that think that they know America more than Black Americans.
No,
despite the fact that we're from here, our lineage is from here. And you're trying to tell me, I'm like, because, meanwhile, everything you know is based on propaganda. And you think you know more about America than I do.
Give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and end the live everywhere else, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end it over on YouTube. I do appreciate you guys watching, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it over on YouTube. We got to go ahead and get out of here because I'm gonna end it in a few minutes here anyway. But we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. I do appreciate y'all for having the conversation. Please join me tomorrow so we can talk about why Black people shouldn't be Christian. I'll be on with Black Atheist Rants. We'll see if that happens tomorrow.
Bar and Bosi.
Yeah, me and Bar are gonna be on tomorrow. I do apologize that the last 30 minutes became an analysis on diaspora issues, but it's something that we got to talk about. I am going to have a live about that. It's gonna come on later this month. I'm still in school. I have like 3 papers to do, and it's crazy. But like I gotta go ahead and finish my papers and everything like that. But we're gonna have more of this discussion because I want us to end the diaspora wars. We need to figure out a way to be better to each other. The context in which we exist. I want to tell my black immigrants this: the reason why we came to America is because of white supremacy. White supremacy fucked up our countries, so we had to move here. Yeah, I mean, because they fucked up our countries, and because we're safer from the effects of imperialism when you live inside the empire, we moved here. You know what I'm saying? So now that we here, the reason why we're here,
which is also why I find it so disingenuous. Like when you have people from the UK and different parts of that try to claim that Black Americans are a part of American imperialism, it is such a disingenuous take because one, if you know anything about America, because of how race functions in this country, Black Americans could never be a part of American imperialism. Like it's literally not, because racism and anti-Blackness is so visceral, so vicious. It's not even possible. Number two, right? The fact of the matter is, many of you move to the empires that you're talking about, and I don't see you calling your first and second generation children American imperialists, despite the fact that you live in the belly of the fucking beast. You are here literally because of the opportunities that were stripped from you at home, talking about American imperialism. Meanwhile, you came on a fucking boat of white supremacy. The nerve of you and the gall is crazy.
yeah, exactly. I mean, these are things that we have to talk about, y'all. We have to talk about the bias that exists, the context of what it is. I sincerely don't believe that every single Black immigrant person comes here with anti-Black attitudes and wants to undermine everything like that. That's crazy talk, right? But do anti-Black attitudes exist amongst the first gen? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, now of course is there effort to change that, to call that out? Now it's happening. Yeah, it's more of a conversation now. Is there research to show that there are some groups that do feel closer to Black Americans? Yeah, there was a study that I saw one time that says that first and second gen Haitians feel more closer to African Americans than any other group, which is great. But do we still need to talk about
but there's also
the bias?
context
Yeah,
that I feel like our histories are more similar than most.
The histories are more
I
similar.
feel like
Exactly.
the Caribbeans are in general, but I feel like Haitians in particular would be the closest because of the history of the freedom fighter spirit, and that is exactly the spirit that Black Americans have and have done to try to progress Black people in this country. And so I feel like that is why many Haitians might feel more connected to African Americans, because the history of like the Haitian revolts and how Black Americans fought in the civil rights movement and have really fought since and resisted white supremacy since we've been brought to this across the shores of the African continent. That is something that both Black Americans and Haitians share, is that we have a fear fight. We have a freedom fighting spirit. And I think that translates.
Exactly, that translates. And that's why every time you hear one of those susu ass motherfuckers talk about, they don't want to date an American because they don't have any culture or they're dirty or whatever, we gotta call them people out. Them susu ass niggas, bro. We gotta call those people out because we know what's going on. They some principe salop ass motherfuckers who want to denigrate our African Americans brothers and sisters because they want to feel closer to white supremacy. It doesn't surprise me either that a lot of times one of them say that they happen to be mulatto. I do see that too. You know what I mean? So like that's what we gotta start calling that out, making sure that we connect on a deeper level with our brothers.
Yes, and it's something that I see often. And anytime the conversation tries to come up, now all of a sudden let everyone tell it. People could bring up the traumas they face as children. That they were called African booty, despite the fact that Black Americans were called that too. Like it was, it's more colorism and grand. Don't make it right. It's just. It wasn't because, but that's a whole other conversation. The fact of the matter is this: the people can bring up, but the moment Black Americans bring up any gripe, or the fact that the fact that you got bitches in the UK talking about they have their own version of soul food, and there is a constant erasure. That was a whole thing, and I cussed them bitches on that podcast.
Y'all ain't got soul food, bro. Y'all got Nigerian and Jamaican food. Y'all ain't got soul food. That's crazy.
That's
crazy.
Them bitches tried it, because they tried to reduce soul food to just food that Black people eat, not realizing that the connotation, the word soul, is a cultural, like it's good for the soul.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a whole cultural connotation. Literally tried to say that they have their own version of soul food. Like it was like you got people. I ain't forgot that you got bitches out here trying to claim that Kool Herc created hip hop, bitch. Despite the fact that Kool Herc himself said that he got it from Black American. There's a constant erasure. Again, the shit that happened during Black History Month. I ain't forgot that Sierra Leonean woman that threatened a BOMB threat against Black Americans. Then there was the Haitian woman, dirty Black American, all during Black History Month. 2 instances during Black, and then the whole thing where y'all were trying to be like, well, Black History Month is not just for Black Americans, despite the fact that it's literally about Black Americans and Black American history. And here we are months later in Caribbean Heritage Month, and y'all aren't as loud about that. And I called it out on Diaspora's Live too. I find it real funny that the people that were trying to colonize Black History Month are not out here repping Caribbean Heritage Months.
Yeah, that's and the thing is that's, oh man, I could get into the whole algo thing as well, because I curated my algo to not have this at all, because the Caribbean pages that I follow are definitely celebrating it, but the Caribbean people that I follow, I don't see them doing it. But anyway, like, we got to go ahead and get out of here, man. We've been on for about 3 hours, and it did get heavy at the end, but it is a conversation that we're going to have. It's going to happen during the last 2 weeks of this month, because I definitely want to talk about it. But hey, Kay, I do appreciate you. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. All right. We
of course
definitely come
I'm like,
tomorrow.
oh, give Wifey my love. I saw her earlier. I'm like, she's the greatest always.
Yeah, she just came by. Yeah. All right, hold on. She was talking about coming to the live and twerking, but I'm probably gonna do that tomorrow. Because I'm gonna do that. You still want to twerk on the live?
The way I would hype her up, you better get it, girl. Get it, girl.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, though. Appreciate you, Kay. All right, guys, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, we're going to have diaspora conversations, definitely. Probably not going to be on a deconstruction junction, though. I'm probably not gonna put that on deconstruction junction, because that's more of a Black conversation. It's definitely going to be on my personal channel and Black Atheist Coalition when we have the diaspora conversation. But deconstruction junction is more about other things like worldly politics and religion, stuff like that. So a specific Black conversation I don't think will be appropriate for that channel. The last 45 minutes was that, so do apologize, but we are going to go ahead and get out of here. I do appreciate y'all. Always remember, every man should be soft, be secure, be affectionate, be wise, be flexible, be trustworthy. Every man should be soft. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget to order one of y'all shirts, Black Atheist.